All right.
Thank you, Luann.
Okay. Okay. The February 12th, 2018 special city council meeting is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. Before we begin, I would like to announce that as Mayor Pro Tem, I have been tasked with running this meeting because Mayor Goodman has been summoned to Washington, D.C. for a meeting with the President. Mayor Goodman, as a nonpartisan, has a long history of working with former President Obama, as well as currently working with President Trump. Although she wished to be here, Mayor Goodman will be briefed on this meeting and all public comments. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. Please note customers of CenturyLink and Cox Communications can view this program in high definition on channel 1002. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web on Thursday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Friday at 4 p.m., and Saturday at 5 a.m. This building is protected by a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits at the back of chambers out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and down the back staircase. For anyone that has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Street. Employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it is safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to the items on the agenda, citizen participation, and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you can complete and submit to the city clerk. Would you hold up that card so they can see that? The pink card, right. So please complete that card. If you don't complete it, you can still speak, but it helps us keep it orderly. Cards are available online also in the clerk's office or at the rear of the chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizens' participation, or specified public hearing items. If you received a pink card in the mail regarding the meeting today, please bring that forward when you come up to speak, and staff will collect it from you. If there is anyone present here today that has a need for hearing impaired equipment, please see the city clerk staff, which is right in front of me. If you parked in the parking garage across the street, please be sure to have your ticket validated by our security officers outside when you exit so that you don't have to pay for parking. Before we proceed with the agenda, would everyone please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. I am going to keep that at 2 minutes. I think 1 minute is too short a time for you to be able to voice what you truly feel, and 3 minutes we cannot do because, as you can see, we have so many people. And one other thing I want to say is this. There will be disagreements here. There will be people who feel very strongly and be angry. Just, oh, please, voice politely. If you disagree, and say why you disagree. All of that will be kept, and we will have a written record of it as well as an auditory record of it. It's just that in this world today, everybody gets mad at everybody when they disagree, and I don't think we could come to the best solutions if that happens, so let's all follow that. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card or who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name for the record. This is your opportunity to address the council. But the council is not able to respond or to engage in dialogue. The purpose of this meeting is to have you voice what you think about this item, and that's what we'll be concentrating on. And we will set the time at 2 minutes. Is this the one? Let me just check and see.
Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem, just to clarify, this item that we're on is for public comment, not necessarily comment on the agenda item, which is your next item.
Okay, there's where I was checking off on that. This is just for general public comment, and the comment on the agenda item will be coming up shortly. So this is just general public comment, but it would still have to be, the problem that's confusing is it has to be on the item. A little confusing, I think. It's not required, but the best time to speak is when we have the item before us. Is there anybody who wants to come forward? No, I have to tell you something. I don't feel an elected official is any more than the other person, so I just keep it all going.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's how I feel. I don't feel any better than anybody else because I'm elected, so. Okay, so I see them sitting closely. I think they'll make a dash, and they're young enough that they'll make a good dash. You're young enough, Lawrence. He's young enough. When I first got on the council, he had me dance with him, and I'll tell you, he's a great dancer, too. Young enough for that. Okay, there's nobody coming up for this item, so I thank you. We will move on to item 5. Now, we're not talking about, I'm talking about the item on just public speakers. This is not the item on the agenda. The item on the agenda is what you want to speak to, and that's going to come up very soon. So we will move on to item number 5. And the subject of item number 5 is a public hearing. This is a public hearing for the public to voice their feelings on an annexation report for proposed annexation territory that includes areas 1, south of Alexander Road, north of Cheyenne Avenue, east of Rainbow Boulevard, and west of Jones Boulevard. 2, north of Gowan Road, east of Jones Boulevard, and southeast of Rancho Drive. 3, north of Smoke Ranch Road, south of Cheyenne Avenue, east of Jones Boulevard, and west of Decatur Boulevard. 4, south of Cheyenne Avenue, west of Jones Boulevard, and north of Cartier Avenue. 5, south of Rancho Ranch Road, north of Vegas Drive, west of Decatur Boulevard, and east of Smith Street. 6, southwest of Vegas Drive and Michael Way. 7, north of Vegas Drive, south of Corin Lane, and west of Allen Lane. 7, north, let me repeat 6. 6, southwest of Vegas Drive and Michael Way. I make a correction on that, and Michael Way. 7, north of Vegas Drive, south of Corin Lane, and west of Allen Lane. 8, south of Corin Lane and west of Simmons Street, and parcels generally located northwest of Vegas Drive and Tonopah Drive. 9, southwest of Fremont Street, running north of Glen Avenue, and 10, north of Sahara Avenue, south of Charleston Boulevard, east of Jones Boulevard, and west of Edmond Street. That's ANX 72266. The acreage is approximately 872 acres. It's zoned various county zoning and various city equivalents, and it includes wards 1, 3, and 5, which involves myself and Coffin and our vacant position in 5. This item is a public hearing, but first we will hear from staff, Know that, and that'll be just a short amount that you'll hear from staff. Know that everyone who wants to be heard on this item, everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, out of respect for the property owners who live in the territory, I would like to give those property owners the opportunity to speak first. So I ask you, if you don't own property in the area, please be polite, and that those who do own property and have more invested there, speak first. If you are an owner of record of real property within the area being considered for annexation, and you oppose the annexation, we will ask you to line up behind one of these 3 microphones in front after staff makes their initial comments. Only property owners who oppose annexation should come forth. So only property owners who oppose annexation should come forward. For your protest to be registered, we do not need you to put on the record your reason for opposition. We just need you to state your name clearly and be sure to give your address. And if you received a pink card in the mail, bring that with you so staff can collect it when you make your comments. First, we're going to have our opening comments from staff given by Mr. Perigo.
Can I ask a question first?
I don't know, Mr. Coffin.
Thank you, ma'am. All I want to do is find out, Ward 3 has a small, very small chunk. In the agenda, it's listed as item number 9. It's a strip of Fremont Street out actually on the Boulder Highway. Is anybody here from that area that's interested? If you could just show with your hands or wave a hand. I see one hand. My Ward 3 has one small segment included in this entire thing. It is item number 9, and it is an occupied land on Boulder Highway, south of the old Showboat Hotel. So if anybody's here, I said there was one person. I just wanted to know how many people are here for that. Just one person so far.
All right, then
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
that's okay. And now we'll move on to the comments from Mr. Perigo.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. For the record, Tom Perigo, Executive Director of Community Development. Legislative declaration is quite clear that in NRS 268.572, any property that is within an urbanized area, and that's defined in state law, is most efficiently, most cost-effectively, and most equitably provided public services if it's in a town or if it's in a municipality. In fact, the legislature made it very clear that piecemeal annexation should not occur. And that's the way it's been done for decades in this county. Today, over 98% of every person in this county lives within a town or a municipality and pays property taxes to that town or that municipality for urban public services. Over time, there were some small areas that were passed over for annexation, and they do not reside in a city or in a town, do not pay property taxes for those services. So in a sense, what this action is an end to a subsidy to those property owners who live in an area and are not paying for those public services. NRS for this meeting requires that we make a report, the annexation report, which was presented at the January 17th meeting. On January 17th, we had the public hearing where you received the annexation report. It's been available for public viewing at the city clerk's office as required by NRS. The notice of public hearing was published in the Review Journal 3 times and was mailed to each owner of record on property, on January 22nd, 2018 through certified mail. Here's what's in the report. Statements regarding the extension of services, including police and fire protection, street maintenance, garbage collection, sewer services, and street and drainage facilities, an accurate legal description of the territory to be annexed, maps showing future land use, sewer facilities, street facilities, drainage facilities, and existing and proposed city boundaries, and a statement describing how the territory to be annexed is eligible per NRS 268.580. In short, the annexation report complies with all the requirements of NRS and says that the city is capable and able to provide all the services as required by NRS. So for this hearing, I think just real quickly, I'd like to read the statute that's most relevant to this particular hearing. NRS 268-590, explanation of report at public hearing, protest to annexation. 1, at the public hearing, a representative of the annexing city shall first make an explanation of the report provided for in NRS 268.578. That's the report we just went over very briefly. Item 2, following such explanation, any record owner of real property within the territory proposed to be annexed shall be given an opportunity to be heard. 3, any protest to such annexation shall be deemed waived unless the same is presented verbally at such public hearing, that's a public hearing today, or is filed in writing with the city clerk of the annexing city within 15 days after the conclusion of such public hearing. In the case of mailed protests, the postmark on the envelope shall be deemed to be the date of filing. So the opportunity to make protests if you own property in the territory to be annexed is today verbally on the record, or to send your protest by mail to the city clerk's office within 15 days following this hearing, and as evidenced by your postmark. And so that concludes my remarks.
And just to make sure that everybody in the audience heard, that if you're not here to have your opposition recorded, and you know people who are at home, you can let them know that they only have 15 days between this meeting and the end of the time to be able to make a protest. And as I understand, Mr. Perry, what you're saying is that sometime in the 80s, the state stated that all of the entities in the areas should be paying for local services, local urban services, to the county or by the city or by some government entity. Is that correct?
That is correct. Once a territory, once an area becomes urbanized, which clearly the bulk of Clark County has within this valley for sure, those services are best provided by a town or a city. So the county provides urban services to their towns. They pay a special property tax for that. It's spelled out very, very clearly in state statute which services, which urban services a county should provide to citizens living in a town within an urbanized area, and the county does a fantastic job at that. Or if you're in a city, it's very clear property taxes go to provide services of a city. So both in the cities in this community, Henderson, North Las Vegas, Boulder City, Mesquite, and the unincorporated towns, which there are, I believe, 14 of them, 98% of all the population pays those taxes for those urban services.
So that means approximately everybody within this area pays taxes. If you, for example, I pay taxes to the county, and I also pay taxes to the city for the local services. If you're in the township, then you pay taxes to the county, but then the county adds an extra percentage for the local services they provide. Is that correct?
That is correct. 100% of all citizens living in Clark County pay for those regional county services. Everybody does. The folks who live in a town or a city also pay an additional property tax for the urban services.
But there is 1.7% of which these annexations we're talking about today do not pay for local services, either to the county as an added percentage or to the city.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify that if I can. Now, if you are an owner of record and you wish to register your protest on this annexation, please come forward and line up behind one of the 3 microphones. And Larry, this is to see if you can get there quickly. Remember, we do not need your reason. You don't have to give your reason. You can just say, I'm opposed to it. I think it's something I don't want. That's all you need to do. Just that you oppose the annexation. Yes, Mr. Coffin.
Thank you. It's, let's try to have order in here if we can. Move quietly.
Well, I think you're moving pretty well because you got a lot of
well,
them,
it's a lot of
but
chatter.
don't talk chatter is what he's saying. I just wanted to reemphasize.
Try not to talk chatter if you can. If you care about me attentioning to you,
Okay, listen.
try to pay attention.
I have to tell you, we want to let. Okay, did you hear that I said?
No.
Mike is pretty bad.
You're always hard of hearing.
You know what? I could hear you.
I want to say this as a city boy, having lived here nearly all my life, inside the city limits. It's odd for me to see these things happen because I didn't get so acquainted until adulthood about the county islands, as they are called. But what they are little counties within a city. I mean, let's put it that way. And so it's alien to me that we would have within our city divisions of non-government which have no rights, really. They're not towns. They're not city. You can't even vote for your city council. So I'd like to know, yeah, and I think representation.
Guys, you know what? That's totally not going to help you. Your
No, it's
rudeness
not.
towards
And
this council is
Mr.
not going to
Kaufman,
help you.
Yeah.
You're not going to help us anyway.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'm sure you
Mr. Coffin,
know.
don't get into any more discussion, please. It is not for us now, at this point
Well,
of
I
the
just
meeting,
wanted
to
to lay the
discuss it.
groundwork
No,
for my hearing.
you made a comment. You made a comment, and they heard you. This is for the citizens to voice how they feel. And we're not, as a council, at this moment, going to interact at all. We're
this is
just
the
going to go, but I will tell you, when your 2 minutes are up, I will say stop, and I don't care if you're in the middle of a sentence or anything, we have to be fair to everybody. All right, let's start with our, yes,
Mayor Pro Tem, may I make a comment?
yes.
Prior to the meeting, we collected many pink cards from people that said they wanted to register their opposition but not speak. So if you have already given us your pink card, we have your opposition. You do not have to speak now to be on the record. We're taking that pink card that says, we wrote on most of them, not speaking, we're taking that as your opposition.
And that is on the record?
Yes, it is. We have it.
Great. So we don't have to mail, you give
Correct. You don't have to mail anything else, and you don't have to speak right now. This is for people that want to speak, and hopefully you still have your pink cards. If you don't, we'll have you fill out an orange card.
It's going that way.
Fill out an orange card.
I filled out one, but I won't. You gave it to me, so I don't want to speak.
Okay, sit on down. You're good then. Yes, it is.
It doesn't matter if it's orange or pink, we'll keep them all together and they'll be recorded. We have a very efficient city clerk.
Thank you.
right here. Okay.
Stacy, to your right, will be collecting pink cards in opposition. Don't wish to speak.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just real quick, sorry. Mayor Pro Tem, if I might please, one of the members just pointed out that in my comments I said either speak verbally or mail in your opposition. The city clerk clarified that turning in your card has the information we need that is sufficient to voice your opposition. So I apologize for that. There are 3 ways that you can voice your opposition. 1, speak verbally today. 2, turn in your pink card. Do the orange cards count? Yes. Pink or orange card. Or 3, mail in your opposition to the city clerk's office within 15 days. Okay, so I apologize, I didn't say all 3, but all 3 count.
Great.
Let's begin with our first speaker. Will you tell me when?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and council members. I get a little emotional at times.
All right, shh.
My name is Sherry Aldrich, and I reside at 3139 Sisk Street. Here, Cheyenne in 95. I know Councilman Anthony very well. I worked for him at one point in my career. I've been a Clark County resident since 1968. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I'm a recently retired police officer from Metro. After honorably serving my community with pride for 22 years, I am well-versed on the decades-long disagreement the city and county have over funding. On December 28, 2017, my husband and I purchased our home in the northwest part of the valley to enjoy a slower-paced lifestyle. We're opposed to annexation for the following reasons. We simply cannot afford the significant forced administrative burdens thrust upon us via this voluntary annexation. We simply do not have the thousands of dollars to spend that will be required to hook up to the city sewer system, as we have a septic system on our property. Our mortgage payment is high enough. A 20% property tax increase will affect our monthly bottom line. For years and years before I retired, we saved and budgeted to be able to afford this house and this payment. Annexation will not provide us any additional benefits, as we already receive and pay for countywide services such as police, fire, sewer service, and most utilities. We already pay for countywide services such as courts, family services, juvenile services, senior services, etc., as those are provided to us no matter where we live. Again, annexation will not provide us any additional benefits. My family strongly supports my opposition to annexation, as do thousands of other Valley residents. Hundreds of thousands, actually, and I'm very glad that the Clark
Excuse me,
County...
ma'am, but your time is up. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for
very
allowing me
much.
to address the council, Your Honor.
That's all right. We appreciate it. And we'll go to the other lady there. We'll say ladies first here, and we'll let this lady speak. Ma'am?
Okay, my name is Pamela Patel, and I live at 1716 Duneville Street in the County of Las Vegas, our area number 10. I am a native Nevadan and a business owner of 22 years in the city. I have chosen to live in the county because I wanted a custom home with half-acre lot size or larger. I also wanted to be zoned for horses, chickens, rabbits, and along with the above, I also wanted a more rural feel, no sidewalks, no streetlights. My home of 18 years is everything I had hoped it would be, and I love my county neighborhood. In the county, we try to keep our neighborhood for family purposes. Short-term rentals, aka party houses, are illegal. We do not want this type of business in our community. The city allows short-term rentals, Airbnbs, and makes a killing off the licensing of these rentals. Another opposition is the city allows dense housing. Our county rules are one single-family resident per half-acre or larger lot. I do not want my lifestyle changed with high-density housing, apartments, or condominiums. It is absolutely insane that the city is even allowed to come along and do a land grab strictly for money purposes. The facts are we were here first. As the city has grown, they in fact have encroached and surrounded my county neighborhood. So maybe we should, as the county, do a land grab on the city. I don't know. Anyway, please leave us alone. My vote is and always will be no to annexation. Thank you.
My name's Robert Gill. I live on North Michael Way, right between Vegas Drive and Lake Mead. Yes, I have also, I have a half-acre and I have a septic tank. We who have septic tanks are very careful about what we put in them and what gets flushed into them. If the city would do the same thing with the city water, maybe we would have good water in our lake. You don't care what you put in that water. It's obvious. We can't drink the water. So that's one thing. Number two, we pay taxes also. Can I have a show of hands of how many of you live in the county? No hands? Then you should understand more than those who don't, unless you want more taxes raised on you too. I can't afford to put in a city line either. I live alone. I'm 74 years old. I do the best I can with what I have to work with. I also have water rights that I can't use because I can't afford to dig a well. So I'm living on a budget like many of these people are. And all we want to do is be able to, I don't want homes built on top of me. I don't want a group of people telling me what I can and cannot raise in my yard or what I do with my property like they do in so many of the suburbs. We want our property to be left alone. I have African gray geese. Go in and try to take them out. And I have my dog. That's all I have.
And I understand your feeling, and thank you very, very much for speaking to us today.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is David Seidner. Thank you for letting me speak today. I live in Eastland Heights. I wrote a letter to Tick Seegerbloom, Chris Brooks. I talked to Dina Titus, and I also wrote a letter to the governor. One of the points that I told the governor and everybody was that annexation is an event with long-term consequences, and the city seems to be in a real hurry. I'm not sure why, but I think the city should please slow down a little bit, call for an annexation moratorium with mediation so that we can all sit down together and solve this problem. The problem is who pays for the services. That's not a problem that can be solved by wholesale annexation. It's a problem that can be solved if we sit down together and figure it out, not just come and say, we're taking you. I want to thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes.
Hi. Hi. My name is Bruce Spangrud. I live at 5370 O'Bannon. I live on a half acre. I've lived in this town for 25 years. I have my business in the county, and I have a shop where I can work on my old classic cars. I am not hooked up to the sewer system, even though it's in the middle of the street of a subdivision down the street that they annexed a few years back. Once you annex a place, it doesn't mean we get the services. That house and those two houses that you guys annexed 8 years ago still has not street lights, no curbs, no sidewalks, and they have to pay to hook up to the sewer. I don't want it. I don't think anybody in this room wants it, and it should stay and left alone. I like my piece of property. I like having the room to be able to move around without somebody telling me, oh, your house is the wrong color. Oh, you can't park your car on the gravel road. You can't do any of that stuff. So, as a businessman, I pay taxes. I have 200 employees, and guess what? You know, they live in the county. I'm in the county. We should not annex the way you guys are going about doing it. Now, if you're going to guarantee that we're going to get street lights and sewer, free hookup, and all these things, that it doesn't cost us a bunch of money, then we can, as a group, can make a decision as a whole that if we want to do that. But the way you guys are handling it is wrong. So I'm definitely 100% opposed of doing anything to our property.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Weekly, we have you, sir. Sir?
Hello, my name is Gregory Rice, and I live in Hillcrest Manor at 5901 Sheila. I've been there 21 years, and I'm here opposed to the city annexation. The reason I moved to Hillcrest Manor, and I had my choice when we first got to Las Vegas, was because, as the councilman put, it's unusual. It's a kind of a ranch. It's a rural, it's country, and it is unique. And I mean, I fell in love with it immediately. I feel that we would be at risk for a great loss if we have to submit to city annexation. I'm 65 now, I'm disabled, and from what I've read, the city says that there'll be little to no change taking place, nothing to worry about. But in my life, I've seen this happen before, and I know over time what we stand to lose. And there's a great value in that unusual country ranch lifestyle. At any given time, you might see a horseback rider trot by, and it's very nice. There's chickens and geese. There's sheep, goats and horses, and all kinds of things like that. And we kind of know each other, and we look out for each other. And then these are houses and homes that have been passed down to us. We've inherited some of them. We've worked really hard to get them, and we'd like to pass these things down to our children. And it's something that I feel it'd be a great loss. And I just...
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Your 2 minutes up, but thank you very much. I appreciate your love of country style. And now we're going to have Mr. Weekly.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. First of all, I'd like to thank you all so very much. At your last council meeting, you all were very gracious in allowing me an opportunity to share my thoughts. Having an opportunity to talk with a number of the residents, when we look at what's under consideration today, wards 1, 3, and 5, it's apples and oranges here. You look at what you have on the table, Councilman Coffin, you have very little. When you look at Ward 5, Ward 5 is an area, it's an area where I represent also too, where you have Eastland Heights and surrounding parcels, but also too the other parcels in Ward 1 as well. These are folks who are talking to you today about their quality of life. And I'm just asking that you all take it into consideration, whether it be a half acre or an acre, whether it be the RMP that they're talking about. This is a quality of life that people have bought into. Now, when you look at the urban core, we've not had this type of outcry in years from the urban core. Now, Councilwoman, prior to you coming on, there was a huge outcry of annexation out in your area and in your district. But in the urban core, it's a difference here when we look at, you know, individuals and their spending patterns, and then those who live a certain lifestyle and what they can and cannot afford. This is something that I really believe, Mayor Pro Tem, that we have an opportunity to talk about this, not only as elected officials, but also with our constituents who have a huge concern as to how is it that they're going to financially make this adjustment. You know, and why is it that we're doing this so fast and not giving them an opportunity? I know today we're here listening to what they have to say, but in talking with a number of the constituents that lives in the area that I represent, many of them already believe that you all have your minds made up. And I'm hoping today that you all don't give them that feeling, that you all will tell them that you all are honestly listening. You know, I just think, Mayor Pro Tem, you've been doing this for a long time, and I've been very honored to serve with you. And we know what it's like to represent the urban core. And this is the problem when people feel like their voices are not being heard. And we're asking you all today to please give that consideration. And thank you, Councilman Soroka, for coming over and meeting. We appreciate your support in fighting for the residents in Wards 1, 3, and 5. Thank you all very much. God bless you. Thank you.
I just wanted to mention I feel honored to have served with Mr. Weekly, and I miss him very much. And now we'll have our next speaker.
My name's Thomas Heath. I live at 6095 West Gowan Road. I certainly appreciate the last gentleman's comments. And a statement was made earlier that these are little counties unto themselves. They're not. I mean, we're part of Clark County. We're represented by the county commission. We do have representation in the county. Not necessarily within the city, but within the county. So we are represented by someone that we actually vote for. So my area, and there are real effects to this annexation. There are some of us, I know in my case, I will not be able to maintain my home with the property tax increase. I cannot afford for the city to come in, put in sidewalks and streetlights, and then charge me for it. I will lose my home. I can't afford this. So this is a decision with real consequences, and I can't believe I'm the only person in this position in this area. So when you talk about this, when I purchased this home under the knowledge that this was county. I was going to be paying the county taxes. I wouldn't have to pay for the city services. I have my own septic tank. I don't need your sewer service. I pay for the garbage pickup. So that the garbage collection, they're going to come whether it's the city or the county. So I don't need the city to do that for me. There is no services that are not provided by the county that I require from you. So there's nothing that you are going to do for me that's going to benefit me. You will cost me my home.
Sir, I really think what you're saying is something that was very, very important, and I would like to have Mr. Tom Perigo clarify that, please, because my understanding is that it would be you would not have that many more. First of all, you would not have to put in sidewalks, you would not have to put in gravel. I'm hearing all this today, and we have that right now in our city. We have people who don't have sidewalks or lights. If you don't believe me, see, this is it. You're not listening. I'm telling you the truth. If you want to come with me, I'll take you on a tour someday. Mr. Perigo, would you clarify that, please?
Sure, Mayor Pro Tem.
Please, listen to him.
Yes, the city over time has annexed properties, and properties have developed in more of a rural type standard, and it exists in a lot of places in the city, and the city has not and will not require street lights, sidewalk, curb and gutter, change to the streetscape, unless requested by the property owners. The city will not go in and change the streetscape.
I'm actually familiar with people who were annexed by the city. The city put in streetlights and sidewalks, and then charged them for the installation.
If it's requested by the owner of property or by the majority of the owner of properties, that may occur. But I will tell you, I've had that in my own area. And by the way, I live in the city and the county, and I have ducks that come all the time, and horse riding 2 streets away. We have horse riding areas, but I don't want to take your time up, so I thank you very much. I just want clarification so people will understand.
I understand, okay, but even the cost of the additional services will cost me my home.
Would it be about...
Property taxes, increase.
Okay, let me ask Mr. Perigo, approximately what it would be the increase that someone might lose their home?
The increase in property tax is approximately $143 annually per 100,000 of taxable value. The average taxable value is about $215,000. Now remember, that's taxable value, which is considerably less than the market value, but that's what they base the assessment on, which is what they base the property taxes on.
So it comes to about $250, $300 for most of the homes in the area, the average home. I'm just telling you again, excuse me, sir, but anyway, thank you so much. I'll move on to the lady now.
Yes, my name is Ann McMillan. I've lived here since 1952. I built my house in 1962, so I have lived at 5353 Sawyer for 56 years. We already pay for services. If anybody wants to look at their tax bill, they will see that we pay for fire, we pay for the sheriff's department, and we also pay for the Las Vegas Valley Water District. I don't know if anybody has ever looked at their bills, but when you get your water bill, it's almost as much as it costs you for the water. You should take a look. And also, Republic Services. How many of you realize that you're paying ahead of time for something you haven't gotten? Do you do that when you hire somebody to come and fix something for you or build it? No. You pay so much at the beginning, so much at the middle, and when the job is done to your requirements, you pay the final balance. But the garbage company seems to like their money up front for not doing much of anything, okay? I really addressed for the services because we do pay for those no matter what anybody wants to say out here. You might take your cut, but that's your problem with the county, okay? What I do object to is annexing our land so that you can have an increase in property taxes for your benefit. Okay, we don't get anything for that. We already pay our property taxes, and we don't need anything from the city because we already have that. We enjoy our lifestyle there with absolutely no sidewalks, lights, which make it very hard with all the lights. It's not pleasant anymore, and we like the way we live. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm turning the pink card in already. Okay. My name's Don Knight. I live at 3280 North Torrey Pines. I'm in the number 1 Jenna and F1. Like you councilmen here, You chose to live within the city limits of Las Vegas. I've been here 30 years. I chose to live in the county of Clark County for some of the very reasons that these people put. I've been in the construction business, and that gentleman over there that says that you will not do streets improvements and stuff like that, I'm sorry to say he's mistaken, because nobody in this council right now or in this room can tell one person here in 7 years from now, if you decide to put streets and gutters in my street, which is Torrey Pines, you're going to do it. Because I've done the contract. I used to be in a concrete business. I've done streets and gutters for the city of Las Vegas in the past. So I know that can happen, and it does happen. And I'm against this. I chose to live in the county because I live on an acre of property, and just like some of these people, I have animals, I have a horse, and I would ask two things from the council. One is put this up to a vote to the people that live in these areas, and when this meeting's over, tell us what's going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Knight. And ma'am, we'll let you speak next.
Okay, my name is Kathleen Meehan, 1746 Leonard Lane, 89108. I'm also representing my mother, Judith Roberts, at 1744 Leonard Lane. We live side by side. We run a small family business called JR Pony Parties. And we are licensed and in compliance with the Clark County Commissioners. We have programs like day camps, educational farm tours, play days for moms and tots, private birthday parties. So we bring a great experience program to all of the children in the Las Vegas Valley. We have many animals on the farm. We have ponies for riding, goats, sheep, chickens, llama, pigs, donkey, bunnies, ducks, peacocks, and many more varieties of birds. We are a western oasis in the middle of town. And we would, I'm sorry, I got lost. We do not want to deny the children of Las Vegas of our historical way in the past of Las Vegas. I would be afraid that if the city comes in, I'd have to get rid of a lot of my animals. My animals are like my kids. And I'd have to get new homes for them, and I've known them for a lifetime. Okay? And I'm 60 years old. I want to be able to retire with this business. I've been doing it for 20 years, and I love the interaction. The kids learn so much. We even have special needs kids that come in, like autistic, and that makes a big difference in their life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Michael Ziegler, 1960 Leonard Lane. I don't think there's a property owner in this room that's going to benefit from becoming annexed by the city. The only people that are going to benefit is the city from the taxes, the increase. That's all it is. And believe me, if we get annexed by the city, I assure you, you'll be the first ones voted out.
You see, that just doesn't help your cause. Like,
I don't think I'll get voted out, sir. I'm not running again. So I won't have to worry about that.
Sean Wilson, 5171 West Auburn Avenue. We've been there since 1978, raised our family. The things that I hear here, if nothing is going to change for us, and the only benefit is more taxes for the city, I'm opposed to it. Thank you.
Hi.
3 people up there. Now we only have 2. Are you the first one?
I'm number 1.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Steve Howard. I'm here with my wife, Sandy Howard, and we're at 5785 West Cheyenne Avenue, better known as the Christmas House. And thank you. And we've been there for 40 years. I'm 75 right now. I don't need any additional costs. When they first redid Cheyenne, we hooked up the sewer, we hooked up the gas, and not you in specific, but the city made us pay for the sidewalk and the lights.
Thousands.
It was over $2,000 to do that, so. We didn't want it. Yeah, you know, we didn't want it, but they made us pay it. So we are definitely opposed to the annexation because my taxes are already high enough. I won't gain anything now at this point. So I think that's where it's at. Thank you.
Sir, just a second. You seem to be a really well-balanced thinker. Do you, and I don't want a reaction from the audience, I just want to ask you, do you think it's fair that you don't pay the amount of tax that 98% of the rest of the county and the city do? That this has gone on for about 40 years, that you have been subsidized?
Don't answer that.
Okay, I just want you to know these are other things that come up, but thank you so much because you were balanced and you were kind and you were professional, as that lady back there is not.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I say something about this? Your Honor, if I just have to say to the people who boo and hide their faces, and so we can't see their mouths, and you know, it's a little like Facebook or Nextdoor. You left your manners at home if you do this. Do not do that. This is civil government. We're doing our very best for you. There's talk about money. Remember that we're in a constant battle with the county, not for new money, but to get what is owed us, paid by you to them, but not to us for a lot of your services. That's something you may not be aware of, but we live with. So just so you know that this washes out in the end, but it is important for you to recognize that we're trying to listen to you, but please, goodness sakes, don't be rude and don't step on everybody else.
Thank you, and yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Joyce Rossiter. I live at 5197 Auburn Avenue. I moved here in 1968. I bought my property in 75. I raised my kids in the most wonderful environment with horses and animals and freedom, and I now live in that same house. I'm retired. I don't have a lot of money to spend on any added things, and I hope to retire and live out the rest of my life with my animals and my neighbors. It's a good community. All I ask of the City Council is to please think of us and our best interest and how much we love the property and the area that we moved into. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe the gentleman.
Good morning, Council. My name is Alan Osborne. Live at 1350 Duneville Street. I worked for the Clark County Fire Department for 34 years. And I live on one of those county islands. And earlier, Mr. Peregar said that county island areas were passed over. That's not exactly true. They weren't passed over. The city tried to annex them in the past, and the people fought against it, and that's why they were passed over. So another point that I'm aware of, and I've got some pretty good sources that tell me that every department head in the city has been told they have to reduce their budget by 2% this year, this fiscal year. So it seems odd that the timing of the annexation and your fiscal problems come at the same time.
No. Yeah.
The issue of fire and police protection, we pay for that. And there's been a lot of stuff in the paper about parks, who uses the parks. I'm sure there's plenty of city residents that go out and use Desert Breeze and Sunset Parks, just like there are plenty of county residents that come in and use city parks. So I'm not sure what we need to do there. Do we have an ID card that says where we live, and we have a pass gate that we pass through depending on where we live? I don't know how you want to work that out, but it seems a little ridiculous. You talk about not imposing improvements in annexation areas. You just had a special improvement district at Buffalo and Gowan. It was last week, and they have to make improvements. As I understand it, the people who own that property will be paying for that, I believe, for 20 years with interest on their improvements. So to wrap up the fire issue, I've heard it on TV that you're responding into counties' areas more often, and that may be true, but it's an agreement that was reached with all the Valley Fire Departments to have an automatic mutual aid agreement to respond the closest unit for the service needed. That provides the best level of coverage for not only the citizens of this valley, but our visitors as well. And I don't care if your fire truck's red, yellow, pink, green. You show up when I need you. I don't care what badge you have on. You're getting paid, come do the job. And it's a trade-off. The county units, what happens a lot of times with the city coming into the county, you just moved Station 6, which was really interior, to cover their area. Now they're sitting at Torrey Pines and Oakey by the community college, because community college donated some land to start the fire science program. Now they're a half a mile away from county jurisdiction on Sahara. So of course they're going to be the first unit to go. Station 28 up on West Sahara responds into the city all the time. 16 does as well. 20 does. There are county stations that respond into the city. There might be an imbalance. Okay.
I wasn't watching. It had a great interest to me. I should have been watching the clock. You're about a minute over. But thank you for your comments. I would like you to know that sometimes you don't get the full truth. For example, those people who went into an SID, I believe you said it was near Buffalo or someplace, they voted for that. They didn't have to do it. They voted for it.
Okay.
Because you don't get an SID unless a certain number vote for it. So, and that's always at the request of the owners of the property. So that's not imposed by the city. But thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Dustin Pethley. I live at 1660 Westwind. First off, I reject the annexation just based on the fact that there's not a lot of information about it. The minimum has been done per the Nevada revised statute of what you need to do to process this annexation. I'm sure you guys have done economic analysis on where the money is going to get spent over a long period of time. What is your infrastructure plan? Do you guys have a plan? Or is this just taking tax money to generate revenue? None of these questions have been answered. Nobody can answer these questions that I've talked to. And I do live on an island, a county island, surrounded by an area that is managed by the city that doesn't have the same standard of living that I choose to live in. I live in a nice home. I work very hard. I work 12 to 16-hour days in construction. And my neighbors take care of their yard, they take care of their houses, people are proud of the area that we live in, and I don't see that, I mean, if you guys are doing the minimum standard by the NRS to make this happen, what makes me think that you guys are going to do anything more than the minimum standard once you have control of my property?
Thank you. Thank you. And here's a rebel going to speak.
Yeah, your rebel is. My name is Patricia Oldenburg, and I live in Eastland Heights. We bought there because of the land, and thank you for letting me speak. We wanted to live in a rural community, not the city. I own 2 homes in the city that are up for sale right now, okay, because I will not live in the city. But more than that, the only thing we're going to benefit is we get a vote for you guys, whoever is on the council, and our taxes are going to go up. It's the only thing we're going to gain, and what is that? Nothing. So I would prefer to stay in the county and vote for our county commissioners, our county people, and we do pay our taxes, all of them. Everything that is on our tax sheet we pay for, fire, police, everything else. So I hope you take into consideration, none of us want to pay this, none of us want this, we all want to stay like we are. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Senior Chaplain Ryan Michael Krillman. I'm born and raised Las Vegas, second generation in the Eastland Heights community. I purchased the home across the street from my mother to keep an eye on her in her latter years, and also because of the values that I developed in that rural lifestyle living. You know, we look out for our neighbors and we grow our own foods. You know, we care for animals, and those are the beautiful things that make this life worth living, that makes communities. And so I oppose the annexation, not for any financial reasons or anything, but these are beautiful little spots in our community. If you look up on Google Maps, some of our areas are the greenest areas that are even, you know, are in view. It's beautiful. And I think it adds an element to our great city as well, having these throughout, the diversity, and that's valuable to all of us, and we should all see the value in that. I have 2 baby girls, and I grew up with horses. I'd like to buy my 2-year-old a pony when she's 5, and you know, that's important to me. So before I get too emotional, I thank you for hearing us. It is important to us, and I'd just like to say to our people, let's be respectful. These are the values that we love, and we're sharing our real community. Let's translate that to our council member. That's why it's important. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to say to the audience that at the end of your speaking, there might be speaking from council members, which might clarify some of the questions you raised. So you might want to stay. I noticed some are leaving, but you might want to stay for that. Yes, sir?
First of all, my name is James Pintar. I was born right around the corner where I live in my mom's house. She can't be here today because she's in a home. I would like to ask if I can speak for my mother just real quickly. My mom was graduated in 1955 from Boulder City. My dad built that house in 1962. I taught my grandkids how to ride horses, and my dad taught me. I live around the corner. You can look around here. 65% of everybody in these county islands are senior citizens living on fixed incomes. They don't have no extra money, okay? That's the first point I'd like to make. The second point I'd like to make is I've been here my whole life, okay? I've been here almost 55 years. I'm third generation. My mother was born here, okay? We love our lifestyle there. We have horses. I have chickens. We have a garden. We have our own water. Hillcrest Water Association. We pay for our own water, our own well. We all have shares. We pay the county for our taxes, okay? We have a lifestyle that I've grown up with, that my grandkids are growing up with. That's the lifestyle we want to maintain. My mother's opposed to it, and I'm opposed to it too. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am?
Good day. My name is Stephanie Lofredo. I live on 6160 West Gowan. I'm here to talk about a way of life. I live in a paradise at my home. I am in law enforcement. I'm going to be retiring soon, but I want to stay in my paradise. I am an equestrian. I have sport horses. I'm able to bring my horses home when they need therapy or when they need some time off. I have that opportunity to do that at my home, in my paradise. I also train dogs. I do service dogs. I try as hard as I can to donate these dogs to the needy, such as the veterans, PTSD dogs. If I'm in the city, I will not be allowed to do this. I will not be allowed to have my horses. I will not be allowed to have these therapy dogs that I train. My paradise is something that I looked forward to all my life, and I finally have it. I do not want this taken away. My community, and I know I'm with most of these people sitting here today, we are law-abiding, good citizens. We don't have trouble in our neighborhoods. I don't see the trouble in our neighborhoods. We do so well policing ourselves. We take care of our properties. We live in a beautiful paradise in these areas, and we do it ourselves because we're good community members. I know that most of you volunteer your time just like I do. We do what we can to make our community a good community. I oppose this. It's a way of life that we have that we all want to keep, as well as I agree that we should have a vote. I know that the city has already made up their minds, but I think that we should have a vote to know that our voices are being heard for this.
Thank you very much. Just 1 second, ma'am. Ma'am, before you leave, could I ask Michelle, would you clarify the situation about having horses in the city?
So Ward 6, we have a lot of horses out there. And again, once again, if this was to go through, and you know, the words that I'm hearing from you guys is very disheartening because they're simply false statements and not true. I totally respect, do not do that, because I personally, if I hear a boo from this audience, I will have the marshals remove you. This is a respectful chamber, and I expect that from you, because you don't know how I'm voting with this annexation, okay? That's number one. Number two, I just ask you to be honest and truthful. Nothing will happen to your paradise. You will keep your therapy dogs and your horses. That is it.
If
And your
you can
time
put
is
that
up.
in writing.
And I will, with the signature.
I would love to see that in writing, that we all can keep our horses, we can keep every animal that we have, and I can have my therapy dogs. And the thing is there is a limit to how many animals you can have on property within the city. So I want to see it in writing that we all can keep every single animal that we have on our property now.
You got it. You got it. Because anything the county does, and you can watch all of our city council meetings, anything the county does, especially in my ward, in Ward 6, the city will do as well. If the county can have more houses on a piece of property, the city does it too. I override staff every council meeting. So you have that, my word, in writing, signed. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, just one last second. I do want to tell you that also, near the corner of Rancho and Charleston, we have horses. And there's some of them are still there. So, and also, I will tell you, don't think that you don't have laws concerning the turtles and the rabbits and the cats and the dogs in the county, because you do. And don't think you don't have short-term rentals in the county, because you do. You have about 10,000 of them that we've noticed. So in any case, I just want you to have the facts, that's all, please.
And we all abide by the rules here. That's why we're a good community, because we do abide by the laws.
Yeah. You are a very good community. I really respect your community very much. And now, sir?
Hello, I'm Mario Kurt. I live on 1838 Smith Street in between Vegas and Lake Mead. I oppose the annexation as well, because I don't want the tax increase and all that, but like she said about keeping horses and all that, I know the city allows you to keep certain animals, but they charge a registration fee for dogs and certain animals, because every time I've gone to the pound, they asked if I have to register my dog, but I live on county, so I don't. So if you let us keep certain animals, are they going to charge separate
Look,
for
I don't want you
registration?
registering your guns. You're not going to be registering your dogs. It's all good.
Well, I know the city asks for that, because I know people that live in the city.
Sir, I believe that the place where you register your animals, the community side, that's county and city working together, so I think those rules are about the same.
I know, but if you allow county, you know what I mean, if you annex and then you allow them to keep their animals, what's stopping you to charge them registration?
Well, why should we
extra?
charge you at registration if we don't charge nobody?
Because if you want them to have extra animals, I mean...
I don't know where that is. I've never, in 14 years on the council, I have not hit that situation. But I appreciate what you're saying, and I thank you very much. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's it.
Okay, ma'am?
Good afternoon. My name's Jennifer Castiglione. I live at 5560 El Parque Avenue, which is off of Sahara and Lindale. I am opposed. I've lived in the city for 37 years. I was a real estate agent for 30 of those years for a developer. I have been to many city and county planning meetings where promises have been made, city council members have been changed, and now those promises are no longer any good. You cannot speak for what's going to happen beyond your tenure. We the people are speaking out. You're the government. You need to hear us and support us. Embrace our lifestyle. When you turn off of Sahara into that county, you feel like you've left Las Vegas behind. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of listening to ching, 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 ching everywhere I go. The gas station, the 7-Eleven, the grocery store. About the only place is that county island, and it is an oasis, and I am begging you to protect us.
Did you want to say anything more?
No.
Because you had time. I just wanted to say to you, I think all of us here don't like the ching, ching, ching either, and I think that's very important. I do want to tell you that when you had problems in the island in the ward, the island that's in my ward, I spent hundreds of hours to keep down the intensity of housing. Yeah. And I did that for the people in the county. There weren't people in the county fighting for them, but we did, and it was the city who paid me. It wasn't the county. So I just want you to know you get services. You get some services you may not realize. But you had a good point. I think it was a good comment that you made. Thank you so much.
And Michelle, I missed your calendar last year, honey. Come on.
I gotta lose some more weight, okay? I'm doing it for 2019.
Okay, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Agricola. I live at 3275 Mustang Street. I lived in the county for 25 years, and we all live there for a reason. It's the lifestyle, and that's why I oppose annexation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir?
Yeah, I'm John Jewell. I live on 3535 Mustang. I'd like to thank everybody for providing this forum and hope you'll heed everything you're hearing here today. In 1956, my aunt and uncle, who brought Tennessee Walkers first to this state, in an attempt to get out of the expanding city, moved from their home on Vegas and Rancho, near Vegas and Rancho, and built a piece of property out on where I now live on Mustang. I've been living there since '90, since my aunt passed. And frankly, I think she'd roll over in her grave if she could see the way it's been going today. But the last thing I want to see is the city come in and annex and property taxes go up. I don't think there'd be any significant change in service, and I don't have that big a complaint about what we get from the county today. And I just got several reasons why I don't really want the city to go in there. If they need to get a windfall or something, let them annex something off the strip. But if I wanted an HOA, I'd probably live in a gated community. I like the piece of property I got, and I hope to continue living there for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes, hi. My name is Sarah Foster. I live at 4068 Pleasant Road. I would just like to state that I would like to give my statement without being interrupted, since we're all focusing on respect here. I'm a combat veteran. I've served my country for 20 years, and now I'm the Chief of Plans and Programs for Nellis Air Force Base, Creech Air Base, and the Nevada Testing Range. I just moved into my property in November with having looked at all of the outlining possibilities that were open to me, and I chose this property specifically, not because it was just a paradise island in the city, but because specifically there was no HOA, there was a septic system, I could get solar if I wanted to, and I wasn't subjected to the city. I have fought for my country and have reserved the right to choose legislation already in existence that supports what I want to live as an American and how I want to live with my child. This is a huge, important deal. The lack of leadership on our council's behalf is partly why everybody here is so confused about what they can do, what they cannot do, what is covered and not covered. Having worked with many foreign militaries and assistants, it is imperative that people communicate with a much better standing of organization, representation, and quality of life to support that. This is why the people are here giving their grievances of why they are so upset. The other part to this is that taxation without representation is kind of why we were here today. We weren't informed properly. We're being forced to see about taxes that we do not agree with. If anything we have learned in our American society, it is important to communicate all of these things or the American people will revolt. And that is why you have lines out the door right now with the constituents wanting their voices heard. Now, thank you. Not all of us are Nevada State residents that subject to Nevada State statutes. Some of us are common law
ma'am, I'm
representatives.
sorry, but you're past your time. And I am glad that the City Council had this meeting today and that all the council members showed up so that you could voice and give us full transparency. That's why we did it. Thank you very much. Ma'am?
I would like to give her my time to finish.
No,
I would like to give her my time to finish.
You use your own time, honey. Each person gets 2 minutes.
All right. Since this is my time. Yes. My name is Kimberly Vallejo, and I'm representing two properties in Eastland Heights, which is 3799 Melody Lane and 3985 Pleasant Road. I'm opposed to this annex because I feel that it was a sneaky annex and it's wrong. I don't feel that there's enough information on where our tax money is going to. I am responsible for another property that is in city as well. We do pay taxes for all properties, and I just don't see where we're lacking in our taxes to make up and plus not only that, how are you saying 20%? Where are you getting the 20% from? Like, where are these numbers coming from? I want to know. Like, where are you coming up with these totals? So I mean, this is just really confusing, and until we get these answers, I'm opposing this. So and plus, not only that, it starts with this, and I feel once this starts, then more permits come in, more regulation, I mean, you're really impeding on our lifestyle, and I feel it's really wrong, and I feel really, really strongly about it, and I know a lot of us here, which I'm so freaking happy that we're all here standing together, and it's, seriously, and to see all these new faces, and my new neighbors, which I love, and to be honest, our neighborhood is the nicest thing compared to from all the other neighborhoods around us. We take care of our neighborhood, and we take care of our water, and we pay for our own security staff. I mean, we really, really care, and that's why we're here. Thank you.
I'm very glad, ma'am. See, that wasn't that hard, and you did a very good job presenting your thoughts. You did a very good job. Mr. Perigo, I just would like, wait a minute, ma'am. You asked a very important question. How come we have these figures? Where'd they come from? So that she can understand where you got the figures for the costs of the tax increase.
Oh, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm not sure what the 20% refers to, but we had finance work with the Clark County Treasurer's Office to come up with estimates of what the impact is of a change from going from a county island to being in the city. Also looked at properties that have been annexed within the last couple of years to verify those numbers. So a lot of effort was put into coming up with those calculations. Again, I'm not sure what the 20% is.
I don't, where did she come up with the 20%?
My question was, like, what aren't we paying for? I have, properties in the city and in the county. Like, what exactly? Like,
well,
how
I
did
think
you come
that's
up with
good,
this?
and if you want to make a, excuse me, okay, thank you very much, and we will try and get that information out to everybody. Sir, whoever's right here? Oh, it's you, ma'am.
Thank you for listening to today. We've lived in our house since 1994. We have dogs that we rescue from the streets because I'm not able to have children, so the dogs are my children. Sometimes I have more than 3, sometimes I have less than 3. Also, the first gentleman that spoke said it was going to be cost effective. Cost effective to who? I live on a disability insurance, and I do not have $300 a month to live on. I live day to day, mouth to mouth, because I'm below poverty level. So how can you force me to pay more money that I don't have? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, we need your name for the record.
Charlene Van Horn, 5509 Madre Mesa Drive.
Thank you very much. Sir, did he want to say anything?
Not really, that's about it.
You want to second her comments?
Her husband, Kurt, and we don't get any services from the city. We have our own water company, and we have our own septic, so we really don't need, and we really don't want to be annexed by the city. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
If I could just say, every now and then, this is not to Mr. Van Horn directly, it is this. Lots of times you don't know the services you're getting because you're not paying. For example, if your house is at risk of fire, as everybody's is, you're receiving fire protection from the city. If you're toward the center of your island, we've got the maps. We could have brought that today, but you will get to see all that. The interventions in fire between the city and the county balance out really nicely along the edges of the city and the county, but not in the islands. In the islands, the vast majority of expense is paid by the city taxpayers. But you don't see that, but they do. So, that's just something to consider. You don't always feel a service or see a service, but when you have that fire, you're going to get the service.
Thank you, Mr. Coffin. And we're getting your thoughts today on everything on the record, and we'll try and get some of this information and proof and data that you want into your hands. I was in the, sir, okay.
John Lawrence, 1750 West Wind Road, 89146. I believe the city of Las Vegas is attempting to operate in an un-American, totalitarian government way. Yes, because if we do not vote no, you will assume that our vote is yes. So if one person voted no and no one else voted, it would still be a yes for each of those areas you want to annex by state law. This is wrong. If you want us to come into the city, you should be approaching us in a positive manner and giving us a reason to, like, here's the reasons why and the benefits and what it won't do and what it will do, instead of leaving it up in the air that in the future things could be done against our will because now we're in the city. So it should be clarified, and you should approach us in a positive manner rather than in this totalitarian government way of forcing us to do something if we do not, 51% of us object to it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Ma'am?
We are Carol and Cleandrew Threets.
I'm Cleandrew.
I'm Carol. 3530 North Bronco Street, 89108. And we are speaking basically because we want to be a matter of record that we are in opposition to the annexation. And rather than belabor the time, we speak in solidarity and in agreement with everyone who has spoken before us and those who are going to speak after us. And I respectfully ask that this council not view us as selfish whiners, but respectfully ask that you consider our concerns as legitimate concerns when they are, and that you will vote objectively and hear our voices today. So thank you so very kindly for the time.
Thank you. Good statements, very good statements. Thank you.
Just speaking for myself there, I would like to say that I oppose it as well, and it's been a wonderful lifestyle living there for the last 33 years in that part of the city. We built a home there, our kids grew up there, so I know what it's like to live in an area where you are unrestricted and not overly regulated. Having built the house there, and the county worked with us appropriately for building our house with their regulations. So please respect the wishes of the people is all I ask of you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Michelle Tombari. My address is 1885 Fairhaven Street. I do live in a county island, which I love. I have my own septic system. I don't need the city sewer. I know I'm parroting pretty much what you're hearing from a lot of other people who are here today. I just hope that you're listening to what we're trying to tell you. It came as a total shock that the city could even do this. It's like we live in the county because we want to live in the county. We don't want to live in the city. And then to have this notice come out saying, well, guess what, you're going to be in the city, we don't want it. We don't want it. If I had wanted to live in the city, or if I do want to live in the city now, I'll get up and move to the city. But that's not what I want. I want to stay in the county where I'm at now, in the same lifestyle that I enjoy now. So please listen to us and consider what we're telling you. So thank you.
Yes, and I think we are listening, ma'am. I do think so, but thank you very much. Ma'am?
Oh, my name is Donna Chisholm. I live at 5835 Doe. 40 years ago, we bought this lot in the county. Now, we already lived in Vegas. Had we wanted a lot in Vegas, we would have bought one. We chose to live in the county. I've already paid to have everything taken to the house. It was an owner-builder. My husband and I built it. We've lived in it for 39 years, and I'm not thrilled about getting more services I have to pay for that I don't need or anything else. I like it just the way it is. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
My name is Frances Schwartz. I live off of Smoke Ranch in Decatur. When I bought the property, I realized my house alone on Jean is in the city. My back property is in the county. I love it like it is. That's why we bought it. The rural setting. We can have the animals we need. We know we do pay the taxes, both the police department and the fire department, whatever taxes they're also involved. We oppose, my husband had to work, couldn't get off, this annexing with the other part of the city. We don't want it, and I know all of us are in our early 50s to 60s, 70s. We can't afford any more on our income, and we agree with everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes?
Thank you. My name's Judith Carmody. We live at 3030 Breton Drive, and my husband and I both oppose the annexation, primarily because, one, I have worked for both county and federal government for well over 20 years. I have seen many changes within each institute where one council is going to promise and say one thing, and later on another council, based on figures and information that's provided to them from their various departments, will turn around and make a separate decision, or they will vacate a previous decision. We do not want the county to be annexed into the city. We like where we are at. It is quiet. It is peaceful. We do not have the crime rate that the city has itself. We do not want to have septic or sewer put in. For one, my husband and I are both totally disabled. We live on a very fixed income, and whether it cost us $100 a foot to go from our house to the center of our street, or whether it cost us the $1,000 a foot that I've been hearing to go from our house all the way down to where the nearest tap is. If that were the case, I would be paying more to get into the tap than my house is worth. And I can't afford that. So we hope you will take into consideration everything that is being said and understand what position you would put yourselves in if you were in the same situation. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Ma'am?
Hello. I'm Joanne Lightheart. I live at 1950 Tequista. I'm retired and on a fixed income like so many of my other neighbors. I've lived in the city of North Las Vegas. I've lived in the city of Las Vegas, and now I'm in the county, and I prefer the county. When I purchased my house, I had some major work done. My builder, or the contractor that was doing the work, thought I lived in the city. He went to get a building permit. He quoted over $1,000. When I corrected him and told him my property was actually in the county, my building permit was $250. $750 difference. That's just one example of the types of fee increases that we all face as we live in our homes. Those of us who are on fixed incomes, that's significant. That's very significant. So the kind of bottom line is, I chose where I wanted to live. I'm there, and now it's in your hands as to whether that changes. I want my government to work for me, not at odds to me. Okay? So thank you for your time and patience. Please consider our requests.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Ma'am?
My name is Sandra Munoz. I live at 5005 Bevy Drive. I've been up there since 1970. I live on a half acre. I can have a horse and a half on my half acre. So I wish to stay and keep it that way. So I am voting opposed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Afternoon. Just so you know, I got nothing but love in my heart for all of you right now, but I'm going to say some things. All right. I served with him on Metro, served with her on Metro. There's some laws that have to do with animals that are on the books, both city, county, and state. And you can't make the statement you just did, because those laws do affect the animals. In the county, you don't have to license your dogs. In the city, you do. There's money associated with that, and it's a recurring fee. I had a president a couple of years ago that told me if I liked my doctor, I could keep him. That crap didn't happen either. All right? Just saying. All right, what it comes down to is when I bought a house and government came along, put a freeway through it. So then I was houseless and I had to buy another house. So I did the math and I shopped around and I looked to see what I was going for. I went to this neighborhood and I found the Palace of Solitude, like these people are saying, where I know all my neighbors. One was just talking before me, one's a couple people behind me. We got neighbors that are coming over here that showed up at my doorstep, tell me about the annexation, and they could have knocked me over with a feather because I didn't see this coming. It hadn't been televised, put it in the paper. I haven't bought the RJ in 20 years. So that's not even relevant in this day and time. But we did the math, all right? The $400,000 my house is worth, all right, $500,000 my neighbor's house is worth. That's a chunk of change when you start looking at his federal fixed income and my retiree benefits that I have to deal with. I did the math before. That math is shifting. I'm looking at selling features. I'm looking at cost-benefit analysis. I'm like, all right, what am I getting for this money? Yeah, $350, $400 a year here and there. Let's say it's $500. I've lived there 16 years. That's $8,000. This math I can do. That's a chunk of change. What am I getting? I'm being told, I'm hearing, my ears are telling me that I'm not paying my fair share. When I'm paying my fair share, I paid for the services that were rendered. I know my neighbors. I'm the kid on the block. All right? There's a guy over there that gets me in a lot of trouble because he thinks he's a kid too, and he's like 700, and he's got me out there digging up other people's trees and digging up their septic system to fix their stuff so that they don't have to cost them money. I don't mind doing it. It breaks my back more than it's broke, but it is what it is. The point of the matter is we don't live in a homeowners association on purpose. We own our street. We pay for the paving.
Yes, sir. I have to tell you, your time is up. You made some very pertinent points. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, sir, we need your name for the record.
And then the lady.
Good afternoon. My name is Colleen Manning Pickett.
Excuse me 1 minute. We have a problem here. We have to do this all legally.
Grant, could you come back up and give your name for the record, please?
Grant Grand, 3050 Breton Drive. And I appreciate what you had to do with the Bundy situation also. I hope that we have a similar remedy in this one. No second amendment.
Okay, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Colleen Manning.
Quiet, please, so she can speak.
Pickett. I live at 2313 Duneville Street, Las Vegas, 89146. I'm here today on behalf of myself and my husband, Blair Jean Pickett. I'm here today to say that my husband and I raised a very large family. We have 9 children. It took us 22 years to be able to afford a house because we didn't have extra money to put away. Our youngest child just went to college a few years ago, and we were finally able to save enough money to purchase our home. We looked for this home for 5 years. We've lived both in the city and in the county. This is our dream home. None of us are kids anymore. We would not be able to afford this home in the future. The prices of the housing market at the moment are low, but the homes in our neighborhoods are very high. And if they go to what they were before the recession, I doubt any of us will be able to afford the property taxes on these houses. And I know that my husband and I, for sure, cannot. And if we're forced to join into the city sewer system, we will lose our house. Many of the people in this room have become friends. They've become family members. We look out for each other. We take care of each other. We help each other when you're sick. We pick up packages at your doorstep. We take care of your animals. And most of these people here, as you can see, are elderly. And they have been asked to come here to fight for something that they love. And they have made the effort, in spite of their disabilities, the long walk from the parking spaces or the parking structure to come over here and defend their properties.
Thank you, ma'am. The time is up, and we appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thank you. I've got my notes. I'll give this to you in a minute. Thank you. Oh, great, great. Hello, John Medlin. Thank you for having this meeting today. I live at 3252 North Torrey Pines. I've lived there over 30 years. First thing I got to say is after reading about this in the paper and the reason and things I've heard today, I feel like my neighbors and I are being portrayed as a bunch of freeloaders and moochers. You know, we pull our weight. Okay, but that's just my feelings. Okay. One thing I'm really concerned about is paying a disproportionate amount of property tax. Now, today, my 3-bedroom house that I've raised my 3 kids in, that would be considered a modest house. On my piece of property, which I do very little with now, all the animals are gone, there's enough to build 6 good-sized houses today. Now, when my wife and I, who are retired on fixed incomes, are we going to be paying a disproportionate amount of tax when we pay property on our land that down the street they build 6 houses on that same amount of land? I'm just trying to put this together in my head. You see where I'm going? Is my property tax going to be really disproportionate for these 2 retired people? Because I already pay quite a bit, you know. Yeah. It's in my budget. I can do it. But, you know, I don't want to think about that, too. So I'm going to live in this house forever. It's all I got. I'm not moving down the street for those taxes. The other thing I'm concerned with is, well, the same thing everybody talks about. I've never used a lot of these services. I don't want them. I've learned a little bit about SIDs today. So maybe in my rural preservation zone, which I hope we can keep our rural preservation zone, that we can keep our gravel streets. I live on Torrey Pines, one of the last sections of 2-lane. And if that turned into a 4-lane street with curves, man, I just got another street in the city. All my house is good for is business.
Right.
The horse property right now makes it a valuable, desirable place to live. If it's just another business, it's just another crappy house on the street.
Thank you, sir. I don't think your house will ever be a crappy house. I think you take good care of it. But thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much for hearing me. Thank you for having this meeting today.
You're welcome. Yes.
Okay. Marcy Rose, 6145 West Gowan Road. I've lived in that house for more than 25 years. I've always paid my taxes. I've always worked and supported the city and the county and the state of Nevada. A couple of things that I wanted to bring up. One, all of us feel that this is important enough that several of us in here, the ones that aren't retired, took vacation days to come here, take off work, so that you guys could know what our opinion was. So first of all, that's important. The second thing is that you feel that we are not paying our fair share of the taxes. One, I wanted to say, are the people in Turnberry Place paying more in taxes? Are the people in Queensbridge? They are, because they have additional services, same as the people in Summerlin. If you live in a community that has more, you pay more. In the county, we don't have more. We don't have gas. We have propane tanks. We don't have sewer. We've heard all this before, but I just wanted to make sure that you understand there are different taxation rates within the city because there are people that have higher values to those things that they want, and they live there, and that's what they have. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the improvement projects. My piece of property does have sidewalks and streetlights. That was not done at our request. It was done by the county. The county said, you will have this. We are improving the street. And it cost $18,000 for us to get that done. They allowed us to pay that interest-free over 20 years. But again, they said it will increase your property value. I don't feel my property value is increased because I have a sidewalk in front. I have more people coming through now than came through before. So I just want you to understand that that's our point.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. The question was, it was the county that put in the sidewalk?
It was the county that put
Yeah,
in
so
the
it wasn't the
sidewalk
city.
and the streetlights.
Okay.
And
We just-
one other
So the
last-
county does do things like
Yes.
that?
And
Mhm.
one other last point, you talk about us being rude, but being on your phones and having sidebars is also rude.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm not going to take that personally, since I'm not on my phone, and I don't have a sidebar here, although I do have to once in a while check with the lawyer or something, but...
Mayor Pro Tem?
But yes, you were looking up something for this, right? I think
No,
so.
I was actually talking to my favorite county commissioners, Lawrence Weekly and Marilyn Kirkpatrick and Larry Brown, via my phone for you guys. So things that we're doing up here, you don't know.
Oh, shit.
Now, I'm going to make a statement, if I might. We had the big fight in the Northwest about annexation. I was not involved in that much, but I will tell you, at the time, I said to Larry Brown, we have an island. It's surrounded by our city. And Larry said to me, that's the type of place that should be annexed. And I had people who also heard that comment. Now, if he's changed his mind in the last 12 months, he's changed his mind, but that we're not going after land just to grab. These are other matters involved, and maybe at the end of this or some other meeting, we can get into some of the other things that you may not realize are happening. You may not know what the city is doing and the expense to the city. But who was next? Ma'am, was it you? Aha, we start at the beginning again.
Yes. I'm Carol Turner. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I've been a resident of Las Vegas since 1946. Our home, we built our home 40 years ago. It's at 6125 West Gowan Road. We have an acre and a half, and we chose that property so we can have horses, chickens. Our boxers run the property. And I'm concerned, too, about restrictions if the city annexes the land. I read in the paper somewhere, paperwork, that if a majority of the property owners oppose the annexation, it won't happen. And this is a democracy, so I hope that you care about what the majority wants. And obviously, from what you see in this room, most everyone doesn't want it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sir.
My name's Hal Peterson. I live at 1800 Valley Drive. I helped my dad build that house. And I liked the area so much that I took my family down the street and built the house and raised 5 boys there. And they loved it. We had horses, chickens, and flies. You can ask my back neighbor.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, I'm really starting to feel kind of old. I did this 30 years ago. Went through the same thing, and none of you all were here.
No.
None of you were sitting up there. And it scares the tar out of us. What you're all going to decide with our lives, with my money. I don't see how you do it. You're starting to act like Trump.
And that's a really good thing, buddy. That's a really good thing.
No, I say that honestly.
Okay, let's not get into that. Let's concentrate on what we're doing here, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am.
My name is Linda Wascom. I live at 4147 Pleasant Road in County Island called Eastland Heights. Linda Wascom. A couple of things. You asked one of the gentlemen if he thought he was fair. I guess my view on this is we pay less in taxes than the city residents, and we get less services. And personally, I think it's completely fair, and want to be on record as protesting. Like most of my peers here before me, I don't know what the property tax would be. For someone like me, I'm probably one of the low-end folks in here, probably $50 a month. But please understand, $50 to you is lunch. $50 to me is a week's worth of groceries, and it's a monthly prescription. And I work very, very tight. I bought a home according to what I could afford. Lastly, and I just want to share this, it may not pertain to everyone, it certainly does to some of us, it's something I think you need to know, as has to do with well water and municipalities and water rights, and I know your literature says it will not affect that, but I want you to be aware that in 1972, Eastland Heights Tract 5 was annexed to the city of Las Vegas because they wanted sidewalks and streetlights. Fast forward 40-some-odd years to 2012, 2013, the state engineer water office came in and said, when less than a fifth of your homes annexed to the city, you people lost rights to that water permit, and they took from us 200 acre-feet of water, 2/3 of the water that serves our entire neighborhood. Was it legal? Personally, I don't think so. The reality is it would have cost us a couple of $100,000 to fight that, and we're not people of means. So when you put out there that it won't have an effect, I hope you understand that you don't control that. The state engineer does, and it's not something that could happen. It already did happen, and it could happen again, and that's a huge, huge financial loss for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I would tell you that that wasn't a vote of the county or the city. That was
No, it's
probably,
not.
it was the water authority. And I would also say to everybody, hang on to your water rights.
Yeah,
because they're
understood.
worth
When
a
you
lot
have
of
it in
money, and don't
literature,
let
they
anyone.
won't be affected. You can't promise that.
Well, the
That's
state
what I
engineer is what he said. I just know that they were starting to do that, and where I live, there are water rights also.
Yes.
And,
This has farther-reaching consequences than just paying the property tax. They're really, really big, and I hope you...
But that would have happened
give
if
it
you were in the
consideration.
county or the city. It's the other authority that's
But
doing
they
it. I
tied
just
it to
wanted to
the
tell you.
annexation. They said that's how we lost our permit right, and if they hadn't annexed, they said we would have. By the way, they never did get the sidewalks and streetlights either, so...
Oh, that wasn't too good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Sir?
My name's Chris Chartre. I live at 3265 Gerheim Street. First of all, I'd like to read you something real quick from lasvegas.gov. Licensing ordinance, all dogs, cats, ferrets 4 months of age and older must be vaccinated for rabies and licensed with the city of Las Vegas. Only residents within the city limits of Las Vegas are required to license with the city. This is a $25 a year fee up to for unaltered pets. And then second of all, the license fee is established by the city council, which I think is you guys.
Yes.
So that just leads me into what I'm trying to say. And don't take offense to that on either side of this table. I think there's a lot of conjecture, and that's due to a lot of unknown, okay? People are looking to you guys for answers. Other people are thinking things are going to happen. But if they look at you and you don't know the answers, how do you expect them to know the truths?
Yeah.
Right? So if you can't tell us the rules, no offense, I'm not trying to offend you, but if you don't know the rules either, how do you expect them to know the rules and what's going to happen? So everything needs to be more black and white and clear.
Yeah,
So we need more time to understand. And this leads into, second of all, I was here for the last meeting, and I asked a question to Mr. Perigo. He didn't know the answer, so he referred me to Mr. Summerfield. I've tried to contact Mr. Summerfield by phone 5 times, email 7 times, with 0 response. I have heavy construction equipment and commercial vehicles on my property. I want to know what's going to happen to them. He didn't have the answer to me then. I want to know if he has the answer to me now.
Summerfield is sitting right here. He'll meet with you on the sideline.
I
Well,
think
we met
that,
sidebar last time, and I have yet to get an answer.
okay, we'll have,
No offense. That wasn't rude. So, thank you very
no,
much.
sir, but when you say we don't know, for example, I know that we pay for a license fee. Are you telling me that the county doesn't pay a license fee for any
Does not
animal?
charge for animals, no ma'am.
Excuse me. The confusion can be on this, Chris. You, and I do remember you testifying at that last meeting. Yes, the LasVegasNevada.gov says we only tax or charge fees on animals within the city, and that's all we do. We can't do it in the county.
Yeah.
Outside.
But the
So-
county doesn't charge for pets.
Well, they have the right to do that, and I'm not sure what they charge.
They don't. There's
I don't
no
know
pet
the-
license fees.
Okay,
Thank you, sir. but,
we'll get into this more later.
Just
but
say,
those were good
don't know
points.
all the answers yet.
No, I'm not trying to place blame. I'm
Okay,
just
yeah, so
making
just
the
know
point
I have
that
2 unlicensed city dogs.
then you're breaking the rules.
Well, I get what you're saying, but what I don't think folks understand is we have code enforcement, right? And just because there's rules on the books doesn't mean they're enforced.
Oh. Can I have that in writing?
I just said it publicly. I just said that publicly.
Okay, wait a minute. Doggone it. Jeez. Please, don't get into an
Thank you for
uproar
your
here.
time.
I think I should also tell you that the county has a rule on the books, no short-term rentals, and you have 10,000 of them in the county. So let's not get into that business because that affects every government entity. We're trying the best we can with the money we have. The county misses some things and we miss some things too. But you gave very good information, and I think it was very important that we have some of this stuff, as other people have mentioned, get the data out there so you can see, and if it's wrong data, I sure as heck want to know, and I think everybody else up here would want to know. Thank you, ma'am. It's your turn.
Good afternoon. My name is Bethany Carpenter, and I live at 5378 Eugene Avenue. Now, unlike a lot of the people here who have been here for decades, I actually bought the house and closed on the house on January 10th. So I'm brand new to the neighborhood. And I've lived in Las Vegas or the Valley, for a year. I'm active duty Air Force. I'm a captain working up at Creech Air Force Base. And when I first found out that I was going to be stationed here in Las Vegas, I was actually pretty upset. I knew what the stereotype was, but when I moved here, I found that I actually really fell in love with this valley. I found a church that has become my family, and I've loved to do different outreaches here in this valley, to the point where I decided that as much as I've loved my time in the Air Force, that this is my last active duty assignment, and I would like to eventually look at being a part of Metro. So I would love to serve this valley, and that's where I'm coming from. That's why I bought a house. But it took me several months to find a house because my dream has always been, I've lived all over the world, but my dream has always been, I want to have chickens and goats and all the farm animals and all of that kind of stuff. I have a dog and he's wonderful, but I would love to go ahead and add to that. And so it took me several months. My poor realtor took me many, many different places to find a house that I would be able to do that. And so my choice was very deliberate in purchasing a house in the county and that was zoned for county. And my greatest concern, honestly, is not taxes, although I know that many people in this room it is, but my greatest concern is how zoning will change, and specifically having to do with animals. And I have done the research to see what the difference is between a half-acre property in the city and a half-acre property in the county. And there are differences as far as animals go. I love my neighborhood. You know, you've probably seen already a little bit of this so far, but I've been in my house a month now. And I have had every one of my neighbors come over. I've been invited over to their house. It is the most welcoming neighborhood I've ever seen. It's incredible. And I love the rural aspects of this community. I love being able to hear roosters behind my house all the time. It's great.
Thank you, ma'am.
I love that.
I'm
But
sorry
thank
you're tying it up. You know, I love roosters too. I grew up on a farm and I love roosters, but there are many people who do not like roosters. I found that out. We get many, many complaints. But thank you and I do want to tell you that in the city we have had lions living here and tigers, so we don't rule out all animals. I'm so happy you're that happy though. That's wonderful. Thank you. Ma'am.
Hi, my name is Judy Clark. I live at 3425 Maverick Street, and I think we kind of keep skirting around the issue here. I do question how the city council can make a decision for a group of people that didn't elect them. You want to talk about fair. Is it fair for you to cause people to lose their homes? I live in an area where there's 259 neighbors, and over the past 4 weeks, I have talked to 190 of my neighbors, actually 197 to be exact. None of my neighbors want this. And many of my neighbors have lived there for 20, 30, and 40 years. And the good majority of my neighbors are retired and are living on a fixed income. And as that woman said, a $50, $100, a $200 increase in their taxes does make the difference between whether they have a meal or whether they buy their medication. And I don't think that there's any reason to do this. Just leave us as we are. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mayor, Your Honor, Your Honor, I'm sorry. If we could remember the numbers that get passed around, sometimes they gel, sometimes they metastasize. Our tax people here told us that it would be about $150, $140 per year on that $100,000 assessed value, which is not your taxable value. So remember that. It's not $50 or $100 a month or anything like that for most of these. There are some very wealthy people who would pay a lot more. They're not here today. They're letting you do the work for them. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much. And yes, go ahead, ma'am.
My name is Brenda Jenkins Sadberry. I live at 5981 Alfred Drive, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89108. My home is on the corner of Alfred and Jones. 3 years after I bought my home, which I really couldn't afford, Jones got widened. I had to pay for the easement from my wall to Jones. Also had to pay for a light. I am considered the interim house. I call up, y'all don't know if I am city or if I am county. I have been harassed by code enforcement and city ordinance so much because I have a container right against my wall, but my wall is 25 feet away from Jones, a blank lot. I built my house on the far east end of the lot. So I have a lot of property, and the city can't understand that that's my property in the county. I have palm trees growing in the drainage ditch. County says it's city, city says it's county. So I do want to stay in the county, especially since my septic tank broke. I didn't have a neighbor that came and helped me. So about $16,000 later, because the city denied to allow me to hook up onto city water at that time. So I have a brand new septic tank, and I need it to stay, because you really treated me bad when I asked for assistance.
I don't know who you asked, but I'd be interested, not now, but later knowing. Yes.
Their comment was, we will allow you to have city water, city sewer, if you will annex into the city. Now, the gas company didn't say that to me. The gas company brought me a gas line to my house. But does anywhere in the records, does it show it? Anywhere in the records, does it show that I purchased that land to where this code enforcement person keeps bothering me?
Yeah. Excuse me, your time is up, so, okay. but I wouldn't
Well, I'm just
mind.
going to say one more thing. I'm not happy with the city, and I'm darn not happy with the county. I have a letter from Harry Reid and Sandoval both for assistance from the city of Las Vegas to help me, and every one of you denied me.
How can you say everyone? I never knew about you.
Because I've been to every office.
Please say your address slowly, we'll write it down.
5981 Alfred Drive, the corner of Alfred and Jones.
We're going to find out the history of the business.
Because we really try hard not to let something like that happen. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Ma'am?
My name is Kathy Trenberth. I live at 5...
Excuse me, can you lower that so that we can hear you better? Thank you.
My name is Kathy Trenberth, and I live at 5639 Alfred, 89108. I have lived in the city for 35 years, and I would say probably 30 of those years I have lived in Clark County Islands. My first house was on Cheyenne and Sisk, and then they widened the streets. I happened to be on a corner lot, and it was quite expensive. My second house was on Roland and Cheyenne, and at that time, I had a septic tank go out where I had to hook into the city for city sewer. I had to bring the line from Cheyenne all the way down to my next neighbor, and just in case for when they had to hook up for service next, okay. So after that, we moved to Alfred. I love that neighborhood. I am very much opposed to this. There were major changes done on Cheyenne, and I realize that because it is a commercial street, but I thought living off of the busy street and into a quiet area would kind of protect me, okay. I wake up to the roosters and the chickens, okay. My husband has now passed away. Some time back, my leach field went out again, and I had to, well, the city wanted me to hook up to city sewer, but the fact that I called an engineer, and our property is, our water line is below what the city sewer is.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Okay.
And thank you. And again, if you want to contact any of us individually about that, contact Mr. Coffin, because he thinks that was bad. Thank you very much. Well, we all think it should have been done better, but he's offering to help. Ma'am?
Hi, my name is Christine Hicks, 1937, Catalpa Trail. I've lived for 45 years in Eastland Heights. You've heard about Eastland Heights many times today, and our water system, and we have our own security system, and we're not on city sewer and so forth. Mr. Coffin today has alluded to something which I think perhaps may actually be the impetus, the true reason that the city feels the need to annex us and get the additional property taxes. It's my understanding that the city and the county do indeed have reciprocal agreements to cover services such as fire protection. And these are services, of course, that you've inferred that we don't pay for, but we do through our county taxes and through these reciprocal agreements. It has come to my attention through the grapevine that evidently over a period of years the county has failed to pay these funds to the city, failure on both of the county to pay them and someone on your end failing to collect them, and evidently you're out millions and millions of dollars. Unfortunately, that should not be the monkey on our back to annex us to help, make up the mistake that people have made on both parties. So it would be my recommendation that you and the county work out the problem that you have collecting the funds from your reciprocal agreement, and please don't annex us into the city to make up for these lost funds. We do, as everyone here has said, love our lifestyle and only see potential problems in the future. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, ma'am. I do want to tell you one thing, if I could. I have not heard one council person or in one meeting heard anything related to the problem you're talking about, to the annexation that we're talking about now. It has totally been unrelated. I know that I've looked at possible annexation, and it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. I can only tell you that. You can believe it or not, but that's it. Yes, sir.
My name is Steve Livingston. I live at 3090 Breton Drive. I grew up in the neighborhood in which I live. I was 7 years old when my dad moved out of California and into the open space that is this neighborhood. When my wife and I got of age and decided to buy another home, we chose this home, like many of you guys will, based on the fact that it suits our lifestyle. I'm a business owner with commercial vehicles. I currently own the street in front of my house, and I can park there at will, and it's very convenient. Also, I enjoy the slower pace of life. I enjoy the lack of streetlights. I enjoy the animals being around. And that is the lifestyle that I bought my house for, so that my daughter could grow up much in the same way that I did. The street is one thing that really concerns me. The land in front of my house right now, the street is mine. And if I park my truck there, nobody can come and ticket that. And if you guys say you take my easement to that, and maybe not you in particular, but my easement to that is taken, that's my private property. And if I get a ticket on my private property from the city for parking a vehicle over 34 foot in length out there, that's now the city telling me what I can or can't do with my private property. That's not American. The other concern that I have is the services. You say that you pay and you get services. The way that I receive services in my life is I look and I shop and I determine what I need and what I don't need, and then I choose the services. I do not need the city's help in determining what services I do and don't need to pay for. I have the services that I want, and as an adult, I'm responsible enough to determine when my street, my private property, needs a light or needs serviced or repaved, and I took on that responsibility knowingly when I bought that property. I enjoy the responsibility. I will take care of my property, and I am against the annex because I can take care of this. I don't need the services. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Ma'am, go ahead. Your turn.
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Kramer. I own the property at 5466 Madre Mesa in Hillcrest Manor. I'm also representing the property behind me, which is my uncle's and in our trust, and the property beside me. So between my uncle and I, who are here, we have 3 votes. We are concerned about this annexation and the manner that it's taking place. We have grown up in Las Vegas. My uncle went to Las Vegas Day School and also a grade school that opened, Twin Lakes Grade School, when it first opened. I went to the grade schools here, went to UNLV, raised all my kids, and we built the houses that we now own. My grandchildren now live in these homes. The point of all of that is is I've seen the changes the city has made, people before you and the people coming after you. Even though you haven't shared with us your master plan, we've seen and lived your master plan. That's been the city sprawl that has come encroached into our little county now islands. We're forced into these small places. You've devastated the ranches that used to be there and put in dense housing, apartments, more people, crime. I used to play outside and all up and down the streets. My kids did until all the city encroachment came. Now we have flooding, we have crime, there's more traffic, there's more people, and you've devastated all of the ecosystem that's around there. There's no, no more ranches. Smoke Ranch is gone. I don't even know if you guys remember it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's gone. All of these big ranches that were around us have been pushed out and taken over, bulldozed, and gone. And I can see that that's what will happen to us.
Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Don't we all have...
My name
Mayor-
is John
Mayor Pro
Hunt,
Tem,
and I
could
live
John,
at
could I interrupt you?
5948
Sir,
Madra
sir.
Mesa in Hillcrest
Big John,
Manor.
Can you
could
just
you
wait one-
uncover? Could you uncover?
He just...
Out of respect for the Mayor Pro
I
Tem.
have a problem with the ear.
Oh, really? Okay. What I was going to say is, all of you who moved here after 1951...
I can't hear you.
I am so sorry. That's okay. Please, go on.
I live at 5948 Madra Mesa in Hillcrest Manor. I take exception to the fact that the services that you provide are not compensated for by the individual. Last year, I had reason to call 911 medical emergency. The 2-mile ride to the hospital, $1,050 to the city. I was billed. So the services aren't free. And
It's a medical service.
the other, your services as far as the development, enforcement and whatnot, I don't think it's any superior to the counties. And over the years, and I have lived at where I live now for 50 years, and I've watched the development, and I've had to put up with the development. And the development has caused, we had residential streets. And because of the redevelopment, realigning of the streets out there, I talked to your staff, and this has probably been a year or 2 years ago, and they told me that Madra Mesa is not considered a residential street anymore. It is considered an arterial. And I thought it was kind of funny. They built a pocket subdivision at Jones and Madra Mesa. They have no street lights in there, but they put street lights on Madra Mesa.
That's not an arterial.
And I called the city and see if they couldn't realign the street lights. I didn't ask them to remove it so that it doesn't shine in my backyard. They told me they can't do it. And they have put up these new LED street lights, and they're very bright, and as I get older, it has an effect on my vision.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. I don't know what happened with the lights. I know that many times we work with the city, and they put lights that don't shine out into your house. They'll just go straight down. So I don't know what happened, but your points are very good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ma'am.
Hi, my name is Tricia Pintar. My address is 5854 Alpha Drive. My husband spoke earlier. I'm speaking not only on behalf of our family, but also for other people that couldn't be here today. So I do have personal knowledge of what happens when you annex an area, and that the city does impose the SIDs on the property owner. You annexed my father's property in the 80s, and when you did that, you came in and you widened the streets and you put in sidewalks and street lamps. All the homeowners fought that. They said, we don't want it. It took them 15 years, and you guys charged them outrageous fees for attorneys and everything else to force them to pay those. That was the city. That was the annexation that happened to my father's land. Now you're trying to annex the land that we live on and all of my friends and neighbors here. So we don't want this. If you're so concerned about your community centers and parks that you pay for, I don't know why you are. They're pay for use. You pay to use them. You don't go to the municipal pool and swim for free. A lot of your parks you don't go to and use for free. You do have some that are, and the county has the same. We have community centers and parks that we pay for. We pay for your services. If you guys can't work out your disagreement on money between yourselves, that's not for the residents to work out. We don't want to be part of the city. We have been rural our whole life. All of our properties were encroached on by city, and every time your city expands even further, all those city urbanites that moved in, they leave. All of those businesses you're so proud of that you built up around us, they shuttered their doors and left. Where Vaughn shut down on Cheyenne and Jones, that was empty for 6 years until La Bonita moved in this past year. Okay? As far as what John was talking about, Madre Mesa, that's in the middle of the development I live in. And I'm here to tell you, when there's people doing 80 miles an hour down our road and trying to hit our residents, turning their cars into the people that are riding horses, we have a problem. This is a residential neighborhood.
Ma'am,
the roads.
Your time is up. Sorry, your time is up. I don't know if those are, yeah. I don't know if those are county or city cars, but that are driving. Thank you, ma'am, and sir.
My name is Barry Katz, last name spelling K-A-T as in Tom, Z as in zebra. I live at 2510 Apricot Lane, 89108. In all due respect to Councilwoman Fiore, I called her office and spoke to a administrative assistant in the absence of one for Ward 5, because I'm dealing with something in that area, and he was very helpful, and I have to compliment her on that, okay?
Good.
The thing that I'm looking at, I don't use gas. My home is electric. I have a septic tank. I pump it out when it needs to be pumped out. I pay for my water, and we don't have street lights. If they put street lights in and improve the road, we're going to have people speeding. People drive down our street cautiously because there are no street lights. If I want a street light when I go for a walk, I carry a flashlight. We all take care of ourselves. We have a spirit among ourselves. We help each other, and I even have a gate between my yard and my next door neighbor's yard. You can't say that if you're in the city. The money that the city spends, they're spending money for a homeless shelter downtown, and we're going to have people that can't afford to pay their property taxes going to have to sell their homes and move someplace else. Well, we could use an equestrian park. That would help us, but we don't use the services that you claim we are using. I don't use any of them. We look out for each other. We don't have a homeless problem. We run them out. We call Metro to take them out of there. So that's all I have to say, and I will be seeing you people on the 21st because there's a city island within our county area in Ward 5 that we are objecting to the building of a 2-story apartment building there.
Thank you, sir, very much. Yes, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman, Councilwoman, my name is David Harrison. I live at 5326 Ryder Avenue, 89108. It used to be my parents' house. I've basically lived in and out of that house since 1974. It's in Curtis Park Manor. What you're doing by annexing these people and myself is changing our lifestyle that we want. Now, on another note, when Mr. Paragoose stated that the services are going to be extended, there's no services that we need that are going to be extended to our properties. He also stated that statute 268590 was intended to take the 10 county islands all at one time. That's his interpretation of that statute. My interpretation is each island should be taken on its own, not 10 at a time across the entire city. A question that would, if it does get annexed, a question for these people that are on fixed incomes. There's a 3% tax cap on land. However, if we change municipalities, does that 3% still stand, or is it going to be increased all at one time?
Mr. Perrigo, could you clarify that for this gentleman? The
this cutting
3%
into my
tax
2
cap, would it
minutes?
change if you go from the
Mayor
county
Pro
into
Tem.
the city? Oops, no. She stopped the clock. Yes.
The Mayor Pro Tem, the tax cap does not change. None of that is affected by this.
He says the tax cap is not affected.
And that cap is
So
a
it's gonna
cap
jump.
in the rate of growth.
It's going to change whatever it's going to change.
It's not
all at
going to
once.
change whether you're in the county or the city. Unless, if it changed in the county, it would also change in the city. It's just one.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead, sir, because you have time left.
My next thing, right down the street, we have a large building. It's called UMC, County Hospital. Does that mean the residents of the city can't go to the county hospital? You keep saying the county and the city, the county and the city. However, that hospital serves both the city and the county.
And I
Thank
belie-
you.
Okay, I think the city pays some money towards it also, but, okay. Okay. Ma'am?
I'm just here to oppose. My name is Susan Crowther. I live at
Yes.
1731 North Michael Way, and I was out collecting signatures from a lot of my older neighbors, and they're scared. They said they want something in writing so they can understand. They don't understand the writing of the paperwork that they got, and they need some help. They want it written up.
And I agree with you, yeah.
Our whole island is scared. We're over on Michael Way and Vegas Drive. And like I said, most of these people are trusts, they're homes, they're shut-ins. So I'm here to say for them, we oppose. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Ma'am?
Hi, my name's Sue Ann Cornwell, and I'm here to address the annexee, and I appreciate you guys talking to us. I just want to say that I live on Cary Avenue, and it's not in the ward right now, but it's going to lead up to something. When they came through and widened the road over at Cary and Lamb, we were made to hook up to the sewer, we were made to hook up to the power. We had to pay for the widening of the road, we had to pay for the sidewalks to the point of $23,000 is what it cost me as the homeowner, okay? Then, because they widened the road, we got all the traffic, we got all the apartment buildings being built. So I moved my horse over to my sister's about 5 blocks away, and now you want to annex her property, and she lives on a private street. I said, and we have fought to stop apartments from being built behind her. We lost, of course. They built 3-story houses behind her. They turned them all into HUD homes. Since then, our barn's been on fire twice. Our arena's been on fire twice. And they shoot stuff at our horses. We have people that drive through there just speeding. The other day, my mother looked out the window and saw 2 kids that had climbed the fence and were on our horses. All because we just keep getting built around. How about, instead of trying to take ours, how about giving us a protection from everybody that's encroaching upon us? Give us that little bit of leeway that we need to sustain the life that we chose by living in the areas that we live in. And I just think there's more to this than everybody, both sides. There's more to this than what we're getting across, and more to it than what you guys are hearing, and there's more to what we're going to lose than we're being told. And I know because I've lost that when they widen Cary, so I already know what that's like and what that entails. And I just think that instead of, you know what, we've been the county since it started.
Ma'am,
Just leave
I'm
us
sorry,
alone.
but your time is up.
Just leave us alone, okay? That's all I'm
right.
saying.
I
Thank
do-
you.
Yes, sir.
John Braun, 5028 Sawyer Avenue. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I have fought for this country. Now I'm having to fight for my little oasis, as a lot of us are. We are tired. It seems like every time the government wants something, they always go after the little people. Let's see how we can bleed the little people even more. Just leave us alone. We oppose it. We like where we are. I'm 7 blocks from the city. Guess what? I go to the city every day. I do all my shopping in the city, I buy my gas in the city, and I work in the city. So I'm paying my fair share. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Sir?
Good afternoon, Oswaldo Portillo from 3440 Maverick Street. And I oppose to this. I live on a 1-acre property. I own horses and other farm animals. I'm a father of 5. And I chose to live here. And I really don't want somebody else choosing for me not to be able to live the way I chose to live. And I know we're talking about money and this and that, but for all of us, it's not just about money. Money sure is important. I'm a father of 5. Life is already expensive enough as it is. For me, I don't need it to be any more expensive, but it's not just about money. If you're gonna build sidewalks and put lights and charge me for it, I don't want it. But if you're gonna do that for free, I still don't want it. If you're gonna do that and give me money, I still don't want it. I want my lifestyle, the lifestyle that my kids are growing in, that has become part of them. I own a very beautiful home in Green Valley, but I chose to live here because that's what I want for my family, that's what I want for my kids. And my neighbors, a lot of them are here today. They are already part of my family as well. If this happens, this is gonna bring a lot of people apart, not only away from their dreams and from their lifestyle, but from the people that they have bonded with and that they love and that they consider family. So the purpose of this is to hear what we want. This is what we want. We want things to stay the way they are. We like it that way. We chose it that way. That's what we want. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
I agree with everything that they've said. My name is Regina Molnar. I own 2 properties on Anderson Lane in 89106. I was born and raised there 50 years ago. With most of my neighbors that are here today, we've all been generation after generation after generation. My father moved from a refrigerator box on the railroad tracks to build his business and to own his own home there. He passed it on to me when he passed away, and he wanted it so I had a quality of life that I believe that's what's being taken from all of us. It's our quality, it's the camaraderie, it's how we live together. It's what I've lived with my whole entire life, and it's true. Our lives are being encroached upon. We do pay taxes in the city. We do the services, we pay for our fair share. We all feel that way anyway. I believe not only my quality of life, but the way we do business in our homes, I believe it'll affect my property values in one way or another, because the way I live my life and we have our businesses and our trucks and everything there, that will change our lifestyle. And if I cannot sell that home to be able to sell it to another business, if I ever chose to, I don't have children to leave it on to. I believe that my property, the cost of my property, I'm not saying it right, the value of my property will change as well too. Not only my lifestyle, but I think it's generational that we need to preserve this, and we do need a buffer around us. City is coming on to us. We've been here all these years. We didn't ask for them to move on top of us and change our lifestyle. I oppose it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Sir?
Steve Troop, 3264 North Gerheim. I'd like you people to do your job. Your complaint seems to be the fire services, and yet I see you sitting here. I have not seen one thing about you merging the 2 fire departments. The problem is over, correct? You tried years ago, but you fell.
You know what?
Are you too lazy to get up and try again? I oppose this. Councilman Kaufman, I heard you complaining about the fire department. How about you stepping forward? Go talk to the county commissioners. Let's get a job done.
Thank you. Oh, Steve, you know what, I was going to say, Steve, it's all about the Benjamins in some ways it's not. We just don't know all the things that you go through out there. This, by the way, your ag and rural lifestyle is invading downtown. I have an ordinance allowing chickens and roosters with their throats cut. So things are happening downtown you wouldn't even believe. And I have a little private Idaho right down near Las Vegas Boulevard in Charleston at 1139 5th Place, 1139. Drive by there on the way home today and see the quality of life you can have right in the center of this city, if you care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I just wanted to mention to you, sir, go ahead. Oh, it's his turn. Did you finish yet? No, okay. I just wanted to add to the last thing. I wish you would go through what you're talking about here, and you're talking about family, and you're talking about rural style. I grew up on a farm, and I believe in family, and I live in what you call Rancho, Nevada, behind Our Lady of Las Vegas Church. And I wish you would go to the McNeil neighborhood. The lots there are maybe a quarter to a third of an acre, or go to Rancho Circle, and the lots there are 1.5 to 2 acres, some of them. In my area, our lots are pretty large too. You don't have to give up your style of living and not have your horses and things like that. I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's happening and we're not aware of it, but you're telling us things that will help us make things better for everybody, so that's very good. And go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Theodore Sell. I'm here on behalf of myself and my wife, Sandra. We live at 2915 Maverick Street. I'm here at risk of my own life because I have a bone marrow illness, injury that I suffered serving our country. And every time someone coughs or sneezes around me, it literally puts me in danger of my life. I'm here because this is that important to me. We specifically chose to move where we moved to. Two legal professionals, by the way, very carefully measured out the laws of the county, the laws of the city. We don't avoid the laws of either. We're legal professionals. We don't do that. We specifically chose the laws of the county. We don't want the laws of the city. It costs more. It costs a heck of a lot more to obey the laws of the city than it does to obey the laws of the county. We have a specific reason why we chose to move where we moved 7.5 years ago. We don't want the additional expense. To be honest, we can't afford the additional expense of maintaining our lifestyle the way it is. Yes, you can come in, change all of our laws, we can comply. It's going to cost us so much, it wouldn't be worth having the house anymore. Not all value is economic. We can sell the house. Big freaking deal. We'll have to move somewhere else. What will you have gained? Oh, you'll probably have someone come in, buy the house, build it, 4 houses, tear that down, build 4 houses there. You'll be happy. My neighbors won't. Our quiet little street where we all watch out for each other. Just last week, I watched someone take off my neighbor's package, ran out to confront him, try to stop him, reported him to Metro. They got him, because that's what we do. We watch out for each other. I moved out of the city. When I moved out of the city, I moved out of a neighborhood where, people threw rocks against our windows because it made our dogs bark, and they got good laughs and jollies out of it. That doesn't happen in the county. That doesn't happen in our
I'm sorry, your
island.
time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Council, for allowing us to speak. I have 2 issues to address primarily. One has been the theme running through the entire day, and that's the cost. Okay, transparency is what is lacking in the cost.
I think your speaker, is it too close to his voice? We're getting a...
We need your name and address, please.
Oh, address, please.
I'm sorry?
And your name, sir. Again, please, your name and address.
My name is Ron Arrington. My address is 2235 West Wind Road. Okay. Two issues that I brought today. One is transparency and cost. Okay, and I've called the number on the letter that I received to planning to try to get answers. What will it cost me to connect to a sewer? What will it cost to install sidewalks? What will it cost for road rework? What will it cost for street lights? And tax increase was also a question that has basically been answered here today, but only one question has been answered, okay? I've called city planning, I've gotten no response, okay? So it's hard to make a decision when in fact you have no information on what that decision is going to cost or how it's going to impact on your lifestyle. Okay. The issues of camaraderie, the issues of community, I totally agree. I looked on Lucy, I looked on McNeil, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know the price of expense of property there, okay? I bought up a little further into the, away from the strip, not even realizing that it was county and not city until in fact I had the issue with the septic tank, okay? Because I couldn't put in a driveway and cover the septic tank. The reality is that the theme that's run through the day is cost. We don't know the cost. If you could tell me it's going to cost me $1,000 to connect to the sewer, I could make an informed decision. If you could tell me, yes, you're going to have street lights, yes, you're going to have the other issues that I've addressed, okay, I could make a logical decision. Okay, I like information. What's the problem based on data? What's the solution based on data? We have not been provided the data. There's not been transparency in cost. That would be my one big question to ask the City Council and the commissioners, to provide that information to help be better informed in yes and no decisions. As it stands today, I am opposed to annexation. Thank you.
And that's certainly, you're right about the data. That should be given to you. That should be given to you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Anna White at 5079 Ritter. I'm going to read a statement. My grievances with the annexation are not strictly concerning taxation, or even taxation without representation, as for the last 8 years I've not been allowed to vote for mayor or such city representatives. The issues I have are with the lack of education about the annexation, the differences between city and county with regard to NRS statutes, and the negative statements expressed by the city regarding members of my community. The members of my community are only given information to which we have had to look for ourselves. The city has made no attempt to invest in these people, in myself or my neighbors. I've had to invest in myself, and what sounds like is a land grab for dirt in front of my property, and now a hike in taxes for services not rendered, and I want to fight. County commissioners have at least written to the city expressing the residents' wishes and stand beside me on this issue. The city has made no attempt to specify what taxes I do pay for, only what taxes I don't. I know much more has to do with the city's failure to recoup these taxes, for which they know I've already paid because they asked the city for them, or they asked the county for them. I choose to live at my address in the county with my husband and 2 children. I am Anna White, second generation, born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, at 5079 Ritter Avenue, and vehemently oppose the annexation.
Thank you. Thank you. Ma'am?
Hello, Honorable Mayor, council people, staff. Doreen Medlin, Medlin, 3252 North Torrey Pines Drive. I'm also opposing the annexation. Again, there's no drainage or street improvements in front of my home. But to reiterate, somewhere in the code it says that if the majority of people oppose, this item shall be removed. So the city, this room was filled to the gills. Was the count of everyone included, or just the cards? And how many people, how many cards must you receive before a majority is considered? A lot of people don't like to get up and speak, so I'm speaking on behalf of some of the ones who will not get up and speak. So this room was full. I hope you're counted all the seating. Thank you.
Ma'am, we count the numbers of comments made. If you don't feel like speaking, all you had to do was take a card and say, I oppose.
All right.
That's
okay.
all.
Everyone,
we were trying
your cards.
That's what all. This is for today, for those who oppose.
And what kind of a number are you looking for the majority?
I don't know what number we're looking for, ma'am. I'm just sure that we have to do it legally.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, sir.
How you doing? My name is Bruce Hamburg. Do I get 16 minutes?
No, you get three, two, I'm sorry. Hold but we count every single thing that you have there, sir, will be counted as opposition.
All right.
The time to speak, however, has to go to someone who's here.
You could have mailed a postcard, it would have been a lot easier for me.
Well, I'm sorry, sometimes we
cheaper for you.
can't do that. Okay.
I want to oppose all this. I'm not going to go jump in line. I have property 6680 Atwood. I have property 6687 Atwood, 8440 Mustang, 3515 North Bronco, 5969 Duncan, 5908 Duncan, 6680 Atwood, twice, there's two parcels, and 2021 Edmond. And I oppose all this annex. I bought all this stuff, we bought that. We invested our life in that neighborhood because we want to keep it like that. If we wanted the city, we would have went to the city. So I'll cut it short and oppose.
No, you can take the rest of your time if you want to, sir.
If you want to give me
work
16
very
minutes,
hard.
I'll take it. But you
I don't want to cut
8
you
days a week. We work hard,
I'll let her
16
take the
hours
rest of
every
it.
day. And we work so hard to pay taxes. The property tax now, I pay like $34,000 a year, plus more, but it's not here.
Well, you're very fortunate because I think
My
that-
name is Leilani Lavine, last name Antoine, and my trust is VTL Trust.
Okay, did you get that name also, clerks? Okay.
I think so.
Did you want to say anything more because you have time? I want you to have the
Yes,
full
I like to
time.
leave the property, all my property as is. You got 8 of them in that area, you want to change, but I have 25 outside of this.
25 properties you have?
In Vegas, in Las Vegas.
Already in the city or not in the city?
No, some are in the city. These 8 fall
into that
In this category,
Yes.
okay.
I really like to leave them
You
like
can leave
that.
them with the clerk if you want to, and she'll put it in the public record.
Okay.
Would you like to do that?
I really like the neighborhood, the way it is. I chose to live there the way it is. I don't need no city light, no street. I don't need that. I take care of all my property. I work 8 days a week, always take care of clean all the property. I have a worker to help me too, and I keep nice and clean, and I really prefer to leave them like that.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want that, do you want to leave that with the clerk so it becomes part of the public record, or you want to keep that?
No, I gave them to
Oh, you did already. Okay, thank you, sir.
mailed this to you. It's really happy.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Sir?
My name is Cyril Thomas Bastian. I live at 2090 Mohawk Street. I just wanted to state that I agree with most of the comments that have gone today, and I'm opposed to the annexation. One thing I wanted to add, though, is I'm a firm believer in the rule of law, and I believe when all the dust settles that we will have more than enough protests to meet that rule of law to prevent this annexation. Mayor Pro Tem, I also wanted to thank you very much for the efforts that you made in our neighborhood. We live right on the edge of the county and the city. We had a developer come in who wanted to change our lifestyle, and Mayor Pro Tem, you spent time in our home and made a big effort to keep that from happening. I also want to thank the commissioners. Commissioner Brager came and spent the time with us to walk our neighborhoods, to make sure our neighbors knew what was going on and get the information that they needed. All I'm asking from you is to uphold the rule of law, and when all the dust is settled and you get the information that you need that will show that this is not wanted, that you do the will of the people. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mayor. Cyril, I just have a question for Cyril, if I could ask. Cyril, was your grandfather like the state head of education?
He was. My grandfather served in the Assembly. He was the Speaker of the House, and so we have a long tradition.
Yeah, when we came here in 1951, I remember his name.
Yes.
As being prominent in Nevada. I'm glad you're still here.
Yes, and I'd like to thank you too. Your office was very helpful, as well as Councilman Anthony's office, to take a meeting with us, and Mayor Goodman did as well.
Thank you.
To help us support this, and so support for what the will of the people is, no matter which municipal organization, is what we expect.
We will do that whichever way it goes. You're right. And ma'am?
Hi, my name is Dorothy Breuer. I live at 3453 Anderson Lane. I've been on Anderson Lane since 1946, and in my present house for the last 54 years. It's 76 years for that street. I know the annexation firsthand in the neighborhood. North Las Vegas made this huge land grab years back, and then the city woke up and started fighting back. So we got sandwiched between city and county. Prior to that time, before North Las Vegas, developers came in and wanted to build single-family homes on 60 by 100 lots, whereas it was zoned RE. In order to get that on, they annexed themselves into the city, because city is well known for working with developers. At the present time, the school is expanding down the street for no reason other than city has, from what I understand, has given permission or will give permission for 230 houses or dwelling units on 17 acres at Rancho and Holly. So my concern is how many of these decisions have been made, and annexation is very important because there is no egress for the students in that school except down my street or on Corin Lane. Both of them have streets.
What's the name of the school?
Ollie Detweiler.
Detweiler School? I don't know.
And they're under full-blown construction, looking to be maybe two-story. Okay. And a lot more students. So the only new construction in the neighborhood is coming from the city. Okay. And so you can, if you take my street and put in your curb and gutter for the kids, I have no yard left. Your street will be within 10 feet of my front door.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am?
Hi,
Yes?
my name is Jill Hart. I live at 3425 Maverick. I just have a question. When this all started, I heard on several occasions that if we can have 51% of the people from today through, I guess it's 15 days from today, if they send in letters, if they mail in letters, if they sign or bring in these cards, that this is going to stop this. Is that correct?
Mr. Perigo, will you make clarification, please?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, I'll just read directly from NRS 268.574, number 3. Majority of the property owners in a territory means the record owners of real property, A, whose combined value is greater than 50% of the total value of the real property in the territory as determined by assessment for taxation, and B, whose combined area is greater than 50% of the total area of the territory excluding lands held by public bodies. So that is the test that NRS set forth for determining whether or not protest is sufficient to stop the action.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just wanted that answered. Thank
That's
you.
okay. Thank you. Sir?
Richard Scepter, 3070 Brenton Drive. I want to state for the record that I oppose the annexation of my property, inclusive of all the other areas. I'm not a polished politician, obviously, or have a speech or anything of that nature. I'd like to thank all of you for your service and allowing us this forum to view our points. And thank you for protecting our Second Amendment. Anyways, I have some concerns. Being that there's so many shortfalls of revenue, and that being, you know, because I kind of listened to everybody and kind of bounced things around in my head, it was kind of hard for us all to put our hands around this thing when it happened so quickly and not a lot of gathering, or there's a lot of fiction, you know, going on, sewers, no sewers, sidewalks, no sidewalks, you know, these type of things have not been all taken and put forth what the big plan is. I'd probably like to throw this out there. As far as, I mean, the people in the city, what if they took away their 3% cap and all of a sudden they had to pay more? I mean,
nobody's taking away the cap.
No. I'm just saying that's, you know, the increase to the people that are on fixed incomes and things of that nature. You know, it's a, you know, it's a death blow. If we don't have enough money to run the city or the county, why aren't we pulling over all these people with no frickin' license plates? No insurance, smash into you, don't even have $5 in their wallet to pay for your damages or medical bills or anything else like that. There's lots of money that could be generated instead of taking people's property and reallocating it. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Sir, I want to tell you that we have in the city looked into this with the license plates, particularly cars that are there for 2 or 3 years that don't change the license plate from California.
Oh,
But
yeah,
that's Metro, you know, that's not us, but we do
No,
turn
no,
it in.
I understand. But I mean, as a whole, you know, I mean, let's start looking at all the people that are inflicting all this damage to other people and disrupting their lives. You know, they should have some recompense in this. Driving is a privilege. And
Yeah,
so,
but
you know, I'm
we
not
can't
trying to go on
control
another
that.
tirade here, but if these people were paying for their registration and their other things, maybe we'd have enough money in our coffers, and every time the fire department's got to go out or the police department's got to go out, how much does that cost?
I wanted to ask you a question, sir, if I might, and that is, during the time you spoke, you mentioned that how would we like it if we had an additional 3% tax or something like that? If we were in the city, how would we like it if that were?
Well, I just said they just took it away. And then, you know, so that, you know, whatever the rate would be for them, there wouldn't be a 3% cap. That's all I'm just saying, is just
okay.
using it as a metaphor.
I
That's
just
all.
was trying
No
to
problem.
understand. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Richard Manhattan. I live at 4617 Lilliput Lane, or I should say that that's a family house of mine. I'm not in an affected area. I came down today to listen in, to just observe some of the comments and reflect on what some of my fellow Las Vegans had to say about this annexation. And I would just like to say, as someone who is currently in this city, that it would be wonderful if the rest of us in our communities could have your full attention, and perhaps maybe you could leave these people alone and let them maybe maintain the lifestyle that they have. I grew up in the county. I grew up to Green Valley High School and to Cannon Middle School. And that experience, I must say, is starkly different than the experience that I have now living in the city. I got a ticket the other day riding my bicycle in my community a couple of years ago, and that would have never happened in Green Valley, ever, not once. And the police are exceptionally aggressive in the neighborhood that I'm in, and there doesn't seem to be anything that's being done about it. There's drainage issues on the streets in my neighborhood. And if these people are concerned about city services to protect against drainage issues in their neighborhoods, I have drainage issues in my neighborhoods, and it would be wonderful if the city would come and fix those drainage issues. There are curbs that are in disrepair that haven't been fixed for years, and the city doesn't seem to be concerned about doing anything about those issues. People bring shopping carts in our neighborhoods, and they leave them there. They don't have cars, I assume, or whatever the case may be. They could be homeless. The city's not enforcing it. The sidewalks in our neighborhood, there's grass growing everywhere. No one's coming out and spraying them with weed killers or requiring that the residents keep those sidewalks well maintained. So I sympathize with the situation that you guys brought here today, and I just would love to say that it would be wonderful to have the same attention that the city seems to be focusing on these communities in our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sir, before you leave, sir.
There's somebody else.
Sir,
Give them to you.
I just wanted to say something to you. You know, when you say that you want to have the same focus on your community, I just have to speak up for the commission, our city council people here, and tell you everything you say. I have someone who goes out once a week to go down the streets to see where we're not taking care of the grass and and we turn it into code enforcement. We watch our little neighborhoods like hawks. And you can go to, if you want to McNeil or the places in our neighborhood. And as was noted, that wasn't the only time that I helped the county. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, I don't know where you're living, and don't even tell me now, please. But I just want to tell you that I do know many of us work very, very hard and code enforcement to do that.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
So this gentleman right here, I just have to, can you hear me? Because I know you can't hear well.
I can.
I just
I'm hearing deficient, but I can,
Yeah.
yes.
I just want to congratulate you on your son-in-law, Mr. Whipple, for his win in the Bundy case.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm very proud of him.
And I want to congratulate you for coming here and standing up and
Yes,
saying
of
what
course.
you believe.
Well, and I also wanted to thank you for that, because it gives me an opportunity to say that I certainly do appreciate and value what the commission is doing within the city. downtown is remarkable. You are doing an excellent job there, and I am certain that these individuals, would find the city to be a good governing body. I just wanted to, I was sitting and listening and just felt compelled to come in to share some concerns that I have, and I think that we can all do a little bit better, and I'm very sympathetic to their cause.
We could, and thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for this opportunity. My name is Mike Carroll. My wife Barbara is in the audience of 52 years. Okay, we own 2 properties in the Las Vegas area, one in the city, and also one in Eastland Heights, 4048 Pleasant Road. This is a very difficult thing. You people are having a difficult thing. We are too, or we wouldn't be gathering the way we do and doing what we are doing as far as to try to give you our thoughts and our ideas in order to try to change the attitude of annexing us into the city. We do want to pay our fair share, and many of us are shocked when we hear the rebuttal from your side, and I'm not meaning this negatively on there, and that is that saying that we don't pay our fair share of many things. I think that there isn't one person in the audience on my backside here who wouldn't agree with you or me at this point that yes, we do need to pay these things, but we think we already are because we have been told so as far as the county is concerned. So there seems to be an argument between our county and our city over these kind of things, and that's not a negative, so please don't take it as a negative. It means that we need to do exactly what we are doing here today that you've provided the opportunity for, and that is get together with these people on here and get this fair share done without incorporating us into your city, because you have heard us over and over and over again. Ever since the January 3rd meeting, 100 people showed up spontaneously. Not one spoke for the annexation. We don't hate you. We actually contribute to all of their services and everything in here. We're you. We are you, okay? And you are us, and that's the truth of the matter. This is a difficult thing, okay? So settle the money issue. Don't destroy our way of life. We have got something that's a little bit different and a little bit unique. We are a unique city. My wife and I came here in order to try to retire here, and we love it. We love Las Vegas just as you do, or you wouldn't be doing the wonderful jobs that you guys and gals are doing, and that's the truth. But you've heard over and over and over again, not only this meeting but other meetings on here when it wasn't in anger, the imploring of please let us be the citizenry that we are, and let us continue to contribute to you people as far as all of the rest of us. I'm saying you people.
I have to tell you.
And we've never thought of ourselves as being different than being you until you just said this.
I can understand why you didn't. I don't think you realize that you are 1.7%, you and one other area in Lone Mountain, that pays less taxes than all the rest of the county or city.
Then why can't we settle that, ma'am,
I think that's a good idea. I think why doesn't the county come forth and say, look, what we'll do is we'll add the percentage of tax onto these areas that aren't paying the same amount, just as we've done with all of the incorporated what do you call those, the little cities in the middle of the county.
Without incorporation, then get this settled between you and the county, because there's the argument. It isn't with us. We're not the ones to be arguing with.
And I know that, sir. And that's why I tried to say today, we don't want to argue. We want to let you know the position we're in, and that's the position we're in, and we're telling you, and that's why we started this. And but thank you very much.
Can I tell you, may I have, and I appreciate the 2 minutes instead of the one, I really do, and I will be very brief.
Yeah, I went with 2, and I bet you I'm getting some of my council members not so happy with me right now.
You're not too happy with me right now.
No, they're not happy with me because I went. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, my hearing, and I do apologize.
Give you, just say quickly what you have to say, sir.
Okay, I have walked all the way through, and so far I have not received one person in all of the, and not just our area, but all the other areas that I've walked and talked, and that's been a wonderful thing, getting to meet these people. That is for this.
Well, your opposition is a vote.
They're all afraid of having their life changed. And they don't want that.
You're voting on this with your opposition right here, so that's what we need to know in here.
They are too.
Thank you so much.
All of us, 100%.
Yes,
Thank
everybody. Sir, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Janet Fellhauer, Fellhauer, 4056 Melody, Melody Lane, 89108. I too live at Eastland Heights Association, and I also attended the January meeting. At that, we did hear very clearly that it was stated that 51% opposed this. Now, at that time, there was also sort of another element that was calculated in as well regarding the value of the properties and whether or not it was going to have the same amount of weight as another property. So, for instance, Siegfried and Roy has 5 properties that's in our community. They then would be have a little bit more clout or a little bit more leverage or something along those lines. We were wondering if you have clarification on that. So according to our calculations, if there's 1,553 units that are part of this annexation, does 51% then, when we reach 792 as a vote, so we'll round it up to 795 to be on the safe side, does that mean that we automatically are not going to be annexed in? Is there any magic number that has been given to you at this point in time?
I think we need clarification from Mr. Perigo, and I would say that all I know is that if 51% don't want it, then they don't have it.
Right, and
But
so
he will clarify, because
we have a lovely young lady who's been working very diligently. We have 10 neighborhoods that have been in communication with each other in order to make sure that we were all basically conveying the same information to everyone. And so we really appreciate your help in this matter, but it seems like a couple of big numbers need to be analyzed, and I only have 4 seconds left with that. Would you be able to tell us, so how many people sit in this room?
Well, what does that difference make, ma'am? It's how many people turn in that they oppose.
Right, so hypothetically, there's, I believe, 140, we'll say 150 seats on that side, 150 on this side, so that's 300. If we doubled that for roughly this in the middle, that would mean there should be roughly 600 chairs in here. We know that there were some vacancies, but going for round figures, if we're looking at roughly 500 people showed up today, and we know that there are a number of people who have intended to mail theirs in, so is it safe to assume that all those papers that we handed your lovely assistants today, if we turned in today 795, are we then over that magic number? And if not, when will that magic number be counted? We know that you're going to be letting us know by what, March 1st?
It's based on evaluation and so on.
Right.
Would our lawyer want to answer that, or Tom? Because I can't answer that. That's not my purview.
Well, I understand, and I don't mean to be rude, but when you say relax, we're all on pins and needles.
No,
I'm
I
sure you
understand
can see
that. I understand that. I understand. Okay.
Right, but I
You
also...
have an answer for her?
I have a time frame, so...
Do you, the lawyer is going to give us an answer here, I hope.
There is a process by which all the protests have to be analyzed. It's much like if you were to ask today, if today were election day and the polls closed at 7, it's like asking us today how we're going to calculate the results. We don't know until we collect all the information, compare all the information with the property records, with those who have signed in. Then we do the math. The math is a 2-part equation. I can't answer that today. Won't be able to answer that at the very earliest for 15 more days because we're still collecting information.
And also...
Mayor, could I help with that? I think,
Yes.
because I think I understand. I think I understand what we're saying.
Surely.
Between now and 15 days from now, all the votes will be collected. Starting 15 days from now, then the data will be analyzed. And you cannot, what has to be done is they have to verify that there's one signature from each piece of property within the identified county islands right now. So they have to identify that. And then there has to be 2 criteria met. At least that's what I heard Mr. Perigo say a short time ago. First, you have to have 51% of the, in this case, roughly 1,500 residents. So you have to have X number, and it has to cover over 50% or 51% of the total land size, so, or acreage. So you have to have 2 criteria is what I think Mr. Perigo said, and he's nodding up and down now. So it's both It's the value of your property, 51% of the value in that area, plus 51% of the total acreage in the area. Does that help?
And yes.
And this is state law.
That's what Mr. Perigo quoted. He said...
Mr. Perigo, that is state law.
Could you read the line again, Tom?
Yes, sir. Through you, Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem. Once again, NRS 268.574, number 3, majority of the property owners in a territory means the record owners of real property, A, whose combined value is greater than 50% of the total value of real property in the territory as determined by assessment for taxation, and B, whose combined area is greater than 50% of the total area of the territory, excluding lands held by public bodies.
Does that help?
It's about as clear as mud right about now.
Well, then why don't we give you a copy of that?
We understand, as far as the jargon goes, we wanted to know if the fact that we had this whole room filled had any bearing on that.
And you know, you used the word assume. You said, can we assume that if we had these people here and we have people out, and
Yeah,
I'll
you're
tell
right,
you...
that's the wrong word.
It
Because
surely is. As a new
realize you're going
former...
to have to verify who we are, that we are landowners, that we
Yes.
have signed everything appropriately, and so forth. But we feel, and we know that you've heard us and seen us since it's been going on now 3 hours.
Yes.
But we know that we feel that we have represented ourselves to the best of our abilities today, and we wanted to know if we have come close to being able to show you that this is not what we would like, so we appreciate your time. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome, and surely we know everybody here, and there were a lot of people here who were against it. Thank you very much. Sir.
My name is Ron Schlisky. I'm a retired federal employee living on a fixed
Would you
income.
repeat your name, please?
Ron Schlisky.
Ron Schlisky. Address?
And my son and I recently bought property on Duneville and O'Bannon with the intention of building homes. And we brought that in that area for that lifestyle and that rural type setting. But now I have a question I'd like to ask. Is the Strip south of Sahara part of the city, or is that county?
A little bit of Sahara is part of the city.
But
It's in my ward.
I think south of Sahara is county.
No, not all of it. Near the freeway, Palace Stations.
No, I'm talking about the Strip.
Oh, the Strip. Oh, I'm sorry.
And I
The
believe
Strip's
they
in-
receive an awful lot of city services that there's been a lot of bone and contention about here that the other rural areas are not paying for, and I believe the Strip receives a lot of those services.
I don't know,
And I don't
sir.
know why.
I know
and
they're
I don't-
taxed the same as...
Apparently they can afford better lobbyists than we can.
Yeah.
Is why they don't get incorporated.
They always have better lobbyists, sir. They always have better lobbyists, but in this case, we did, that wasn't included in our thoughts. But they do
I
have
just
all
feel
the
that there's an
time.
awful lot of revenue there that is going untapped because they're untouchable, and you're picking on the smaller people who cannot afford to fight it.
I think I just want to say, if you look at the record of this council, I will tell you, I think you will find that the majority of this council has been very consistent in the last 10 to 15 years as voting for the little people. Now, have there been some who voted for developers that came in? Yes, there have been some, that may be squashed. But I think we've got a pretty good record, sir. I think we have as good or better than the county as far as that's concerned. I'm sorry, but I feel that way.
Okay.
But
thank you.
You know something? Everything you tell us, we will have written down, and we will be able to go through, and we'll be able to, contain that within our decisions. So thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, thank you for your time. Michael Ramirez, 3311 West Coran Lane, 89106. There's not much I can say that you probably haven't already heard, so I'll just keep it short. I'm opposed to this, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it on? Yes, my name is Lee Dane. I've been kind of dry after this 3 hours, but anyway, I live at 5295 El Parque Avenue, and a lot of this stuff has already been said, but I want to point something out, especially to you, Lois, because you helped us a year and a half ago with those 5 acres right across from me between Oakey and El Parque.
Right.
Well, when they did that big job, it was $3 million or so, where they lined the sewer pipes and all that stuff. Well, I just happened to be coming east on Oakey one day, and right at Duneville, I saw a big backhoe there. And at the address of the house is, let's see, 5875 Duneville and Oakey. So on the southeast corner. So I needed to get a heavy piece of steel lifted, and so I asked the guy that owned the backhoe, I said, what are you doing, putting a swimming pool in the front yard? No, this isn't a swimming pool, it's for a septic tank and leach lines. I said, why, the sewer's right there. The city of Las Vegas will not connect to any more individuals like that because it's growing so to the west, to Red Rock, and the existing housing additions that are planned, high rises and all that, it will not hold the capacity to reach eventually down to Vegas Wash. Now that came right from the owner's house, from his mouth.
But also, I think we offered people to connect them if they paid for the connection. But I don't think
that wasn't the matter. They would not allow you, this owner, he was from New Mexico. It since has sold, so it's owned by a Chinese person now. I checked this all out through the county records.
Well, you know what? If you would give me a call at the office, because we are running over 3 hours now, but if you would, I'd be glad to check into that. I really would.
He was told that, and I said that says a lot because they would rather serve these people, but we're not going to have. This valley is growing, so we were told back years ago not to get over 550 to 750,000. Look where we are now. Parks and high rises and more.
Almost 2 million, I know. I know.
Anyway, thank you.
I liked it better the way it was, but thank you for coming. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Carmen Hersiag. I'm representing 2945 Maverick Street. I just have a lot of questions, and because I have no answers to them, I have to oppose it. I don't have any information upon which to base this decision other than that property taxes will rise and that there will be another government body overseeing my property, which in my experience means more regulations and another authority to which I must answer. So I don't like that, and I think a lot of people in this room don't like that. And I think there's just been a lack of good communication and what the implications are of this annexation, the pros, the cons, costs, regulations, et cetera. I would have loved to have that information because it might be a good thing, but at this point, I simply don't know that. So thank you.
I think some more information is needed. Thank you very much, sir.
Hi, my name is Sandy Bell, and I live at 5353 Auburn Avenue. And I'm opposed to the annexation, but I'm really not going to yell at you guys. I'm going to yell at the legislature, because I think it's the legislature's fault that we're in this situation. What we have is a law that basically says if you don't want this, you have to vote no, rather than in the affirmative, saying that if you do want this, vote yes. So the way it is the no votes are going to be counted. I mean, the people who don't send in their votes will be counted as in the affirmative, and that's wrong, especially because this is a change in the way things currently are. The other thing is, I'd like to say kudos to your PR department. I think you guys did a really good job getting information out about this. However, there were some omissions that I would like to be able to ask. Hopefully someone can answer some questions afterwards. But there were things about horses, for example, that were asked, and streetlights and those kinds of things. But the horses, that was answered. But things like goats were not. Things like chickens, peacocks, ducks were not. I'd like to know where the city stands on those.
I could just tell you quickly, I know chickens and ducks.
One more thing, ma'am, and then I'll just sit down and shut up. And that is that there was also something on the sidewalks and the streetlights, but basically the impression that I got was, no, we don't have to worry about it yet, or not now. But I wondered if there were any plans in the future for the city to put them in, and if so, when? Now I'll sit down and be quiet.
No, don't sit down, sir. I just wanted to answer your questions quickly on the chickens and the ducks and the goats.
Yes, ma'am.
We do, I think we limit the number of goats to, I think it's 2, I'm not sure.
Two per what size?
House, 2 per lot, unless it's a large lot, and then they may take more.
So 2 per half acre?
Well, let me tell you something. I think the questions that you have there, Mr. Perigo could answer for you because he's in planning and they have all that information. Or maybe, how about over there in planning? Should we give Mr. Perigo a break? Why don't you two meet together, right out, off to the side there?
Okay.
And, because you shouldn't have to wait for that information. That
Right.
information is pretty clear to us.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Philip Apodaca. I live at 2041 Red Rock. I just have 2 questions. We have 51% that we're concerned with. When will we know and how will we be notified whether the 51% has been attained?
All right, Mr. Perigo, I got you off that other one. Now you have to tell us. How will you know when that 51% has been attained? Is that the question, sir?
Yes. How will we know it's been
Well,
attained?
I think it's through the counting of the cards.
And when will we be informed and how will we be informed?
Well, I know that you will be informed as soon as it can be done, but I couldn't say exactly how many days it would take. I don't know how many are coming in. And then how will they be informed, Mr. Perigo?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Maybe I could ask for some help from Mr. Steed. I don't have a reference in NRS for that, and I don't know if there is one. It's going to take some time to go through all of the, as we discussed earlier, to make that determination and go through all of the protests that we received. And then at some point, either this will move forward as an ordinance or it won't. And I'm not quite sure if there's a requirement to respond back. But if it does move forward, it will absolutely be noticed to everybody per state law. It'll be noticed in the newspaper. It'll be noticed to every property owner.
This is something new, and we have to follow the state, and so that's why we'll give you that information when we have it. Go ahead.
There's something about this, and I think you pointed it out, Mayor Pro Tem, and that is that everybody should realize here that you're not counting by being here. Even your card is not a legal document.
No, I understand that.
Just a minute, Phil. What I'm saying to you is this, that there's a legal obligation for us to follow, according to the Nevada revised statutes. So we will look and see if, the person who actually lives at that address did protest. I can't just say, Phil came in and said it's no good.
Right.
And he turned in a card and said it's no good, because we don't know if you're Phil, frankly. We don't know if you live at that address. So all of that takes time. There is a calendar. There's plenty of time. This will not be rushed. It will not be rushed because it's a legal matter.
Correct. No, I was just asking for...
No,
The
those are good
process
questions.
is deliberate and legal. Yeah.
And how will we be notified?
Just hang tight.
You'll be notified probably, sir.
It's like, Phil? Well, Phil didn't want an answer, so I can't.
Phil, I will just tell you that I will work through written notification to your homes. Well, he's not listening,
It's
so...
like Facebook all over again.
I'm just telling you that we will try to do it through written notification to your home. I know that's going to be expensive, but I think that's the appropriate way to go. Let's go quickly. Sir, were you next?
Yes, ma'am. Jason Herlong, 2880 Mustang Street. I oppose this annexation, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that y'all have already decided. And I base that not on y'all's vote today or whenever it is, but based on the history of this town. I have watched people in Henderson get annexed. I've watched people in Blue Diamond area get annexed. West side, the north side, North Las Vegas. Everybody gets annexed little by little, just like the lawyer said over there. And I think this is the final one. Am I correct? This is the final bit. This is not the final bit. All right. So it'll keep continuing happening until everything within the boundaries of the city or the valley are annexed. So I don't think anybody listens to the people. You're talking about a lifestyle change versus taxes. And until y'all fix the taxes, you're not going to fix anything. You're going to ruin this city and run people out to Pahrump and Logandale, whatever else they've gone. Y'all are shameful. It's absolutely shameful what's happened in this city for 40 years. You can look smug and pompous, sir, but you're just here to listen. And evidently, you guys can argue back and forth, even though the Mayor Pro Tem said you can just listen. But I don't like the smug comment, or the smug look right there. But I just feel like y'all aren't listening. Y'all aren't listening to people.
You can't always tell what people are thinking, Jason. You
When
might
they're
be
thinking?
surprised.
Okay, let's not get into this.
Just say what you have to say, and I'll listen to it.
I think this is an urban versus rural issue. It's been an issue for 50 years in this town, and it's not going to stop. All these people are hopeful that you're going to do them, right. They're wrong. You're not. There is no hope for this. You guys are just going to take more taxes and spend it the way you want.
Okay.
Prove me wrong and vote it down.
We're not voting. You are voting, sir.
Okay.
Your card is a vote. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Dennis Case, address 5780 Delray Avenue, 89146. I'm protesting this because of the issues that were already brought up, but there's something different that I did want to bring up. You guys deal with developers and development of the city. A few years back ago, it was in 08 or 09, a Charleston development was being put up on Charleston, almost just east of Jones. It was designed as townhomes, a 3-story development. Then in 08, 09, they got approval through I believe the city, to change that to apartments because of financial issues. So it is, in my mind, the city of Las Vegas works with developers, not always for the best interest of the community. That increased our per capita, per acre value. The neighborhood, it had effects on that. Before that, there was an issue on Jones with where we were supposed to be able to come and speak about the mental facility over on Jones and Oakey, which we protested. That we were told that was a done deal. It was a rubber stamp from the governor, and we were just being listened to, and we had no say in the issue. This is some of the government issues that we have trust issues with. And when we're in county, we're thinking less government is better than more government. Because when we're told things like this and things change in future councils or whatever, and things change that to our negative to us, we definitely don't want it. And I'm voicing my opinion about my past experiences, and thank you for listening to me.
And sir, let me just point out to you that mental health was through the governor. It was put there by the state, and the city could not stop it.
Wasn't
It was
involved
there.
that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just want you to know that. And
Exactly the way it
although we do
works.
need more health facilities, I'll tell you. But
And I'm not against the mental health facilities. I'm just saying the way the system worked for the people, because our protest was there's 7 churches, 7 schools in the community. It could have went to another place. Anyway, it's a done deal. It's over with.
Well, can I just tell you
Just a
something for
process.
educational purposes and for everybody in this room, wherever you live? Let me tell you that you can have a rehab house for alcoholics or people on drugs, and the person, the council person, the county commissioner isn't told. The state does that. So sometimes there are state things that happen that we can't help, either through the county or through the city.
Okay.
And be aware and be alert. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
you're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is William Dohm. Sometimes I have trouble with the mic. Am I okay?
You're fine.
Okay, thank you. My family has owned our property in Curtis Park area for over 40 years. You are elected officials of the people, be it city or county, and you need to represent these people who don't want to be annexed into the city. And I'm just recapping, okay?
Right.
Some of these residents have owned their properties for a lot of years, more than 40 years, maybe even 60, 70 years. I know a person that has owned their property since before the Stewart Ranch. And they used to own our wells. Our wells got taken away from us. The wells were capped, and we lost those wells. But it doesn't put aside the fact that these people still own their properties, and they've lived peacefully for years in the county. They wish to stay in the county and not be annexed into the city. You need to honor their wishes, leave them in peace, and not force them to be annexed. When you vote, and you will vote on this shortly, vote no to annexation. Thank you for your consideration. I protest and vote no to annexation. I'm William Dohm. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
And did you turn a pink or a orange card in? Did you turn a card in?
I did.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
Hi, Deanne Stout, 4949 Sawyer Avenue. First off, the positive thing that has come out of this action is I've got to meet amazing people. When we've been walking all the neighborhoods, trying to let people know, trying to let them know what's really going on, there are some amazing people, and we've united, and it's been great. So if I get to thank you for doing an action that is related, or you have to do because of statute, having this meeting and stuff, that's a good thing that's come out of it. And for that, I am grateful for this action. Now, to be honest, that's the only reason I'm grateful for this action. But I just want to say, I protest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
You're next, I think, ma'am.
It's all right. I'm letting the gentleman go.
All right.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jim Phipps, 5760 Delray Avenue, 89146. My wife and I bought this house, that's the property, a little over 20 years ago. Previously, we lived on Cimarron and Gowan area in an HOA, and one of the main reasons we bought this place was to get out of the HOA. And it's been wonderful for 20 years. We've raised our daughter there, raised some animals, had some wonderful neighbors, had good times, and I'd hate to see it end. So I am against this annexation. Thank you.
And you've turned in your card, right, sir? Thank you. You turned in your card. It's like a vote, and you've turned it in. Okay, thank you. Ma'am, it's your turn.
Yes, my name is Barbara Clark. I live at 4950 Sawyer Avenue, and I'm opposing this annexation. I think what frustrates me and many of the people that you've seen here today is that we wonder sometimes whose counsel holds. I understand Nevada revised statutes, and I understand that you're exercising your statutory right to annex us. You don't have to, but you are, okay? We didn't get prior notice when you first decided to go ahead with this this annexation, and that's fine, because you told us you didn't have to give it to us. If you look at all these people here, there were lots more, that's only 1/5 of the 1,523 people that we're dealing with. But what I can't understand is how a city council is making a process that's like walking through mud. You have continually not put out to us the exact way and manner that you're going to do this process. Sure, you've got statutes. The statutes are old. Some of them, if you talk about the ones with community property, it says the husband has to sign. That's 1960-something. It has been changed, but it hasn't been revised in the statute in the annexation. So here we are. Half the time you guys have to look at staff to figure out how we're going to proceed. These people want to know, how are you going to proceed? You've gotten cards, okay? Are they going to be tallied?
Didn't they tell you that already, ma'am? Didn't we say this?
No, don't interrupt me, Lois. You said that at the beginning. You said you guys were not going to debate with us.
You know, I'm
going to
request respect. Stop the clock for a second.
So,
Miss, I'm going to tell you something. This is the Mayor Pro Tem, and you will address her as such. I expect respect as we give it to you. Do not address her as Lois. Yes.
Okay, let's not get mad, Barbara.
It's okay. You know what? You are disrespecting the Mayor Pro Tem publicly and this is not okay.
No, Michelle, thank you very much. That's very nice.
Stop the clock.
Okay.
It's my fault. We do stop the clock. We do stop the clock.
You don't remember me. We go back a long time.
We go back a long time, and I know that, Barbara.
So what I'm trying to say is we want clear direction on how this is going to proceed. The statutes are vague. They can be interpreted whose counsel holds. These are important questions because it's a daunting task that you've put on us. You've put on these citizens of these annexed islands this onus to continue. And I'll tell you right now, when we see that, then we see that how can we proceed if we're asking the same questions over and over again. Not about the horses, the ducks, the cows, the streets, the lights, the stuff. Not about any of that. What are you going to do? Is it going to be an independent audit that counts these votes? city staff going to count these votes? Who is going to be involved that's not biased in any shape, way, or form? These are questions that I think are important, not right now. And also, because I probably only have 2 seconds, I'd like to thank all the the county commissioners who have helped us in our endeavor. Maybe not outwardly, but you believe it, they've been behind us 100%. Thank you.
Excuse me, now we get the big guns coming up here. Barbara, before the big guns talk to us, please.
I thank my commissioner for yielding to his former colleague.
Barbara, I just wanted to say to you, we did say that they were going to be counted, but I think it's also very important that we say how they're going to be counted. And I don't know, I think you were here from the beginning, but someplace at the beginning of this, I did say that we had to be more specific and get that information out there. The reason why we had to have this meeting today is because that's what the legislature says, yeah. So understand that it was not lost. We will... What was that? Well, we could stop it, but I still think it's unfair, Barbara. I have to tell you
You can't take the glare from both of us. You can't take the glare from both of us.
Okay, Larry was first. Are you letting him speak? Go ahead.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, you can recall the two of us was up here about 3 years ago on a similar issue when there was an interlocal that had been dropped after a decade. But I want to go over a few things very quickly, so that you will understand, and I will provide copies of my comments after.
Cowboy, who are you?
My name is Tom Collins. I live at 4216 North Decatur Boulevard, 89130. Las Vegas address is designated by the post office. That's not part of my clock time. Okay, I just want to point out very quickly that Las Vegas doesn't sell water. Clark County runs your water system. I'm going to move down really quickly here. There's a mutual aid agreement on fire, which you've already heard. Metro is funded by both the city and the county. The county pays the extra portion because of the jails and the RTC, et cetera. Things the city doesn't pay for equally are some of these following and more. UMC, City of Las Vegas doesn't pay, and Bob, there's councilman, we've had this discussion. The Regional Justice Center, the city doesn't pay for. Juvenile and welfare social services, the city doesn't pay for, et cetera. And I make that point very clear because in the general county tax rate, which Councilman Coughlin, as a former assemblyman, made me aware of, and I was already aware of it, the majority of the property taxes in Clark County come between Sahara and Russell Road on the Las Vegas Strip, and that helps the whole state and the cities. I want to make another point very clear. The codes between the city and the county in this valley are very different. They're not alike. Yes, I agree with Councilwoman Fiore. You can have horses in the city. You can have some chickens in a few places and a couple other things. Furthermore, in your codes, the city is very aggressive in their code enforcement. The county is not. If nobody complains, it's okay. We have a freedom in the lifestyle that these people are trying to express to you. It's not about 3 horse or 5 horse. In Clark County, there's areas in this valley, if you got over 2 acres, you can have 25 head. You can have more pot-bellied pigs in the county than the city. I could go on and on and on and on because your code book's as thick as the county's. So your building fees are much higher for the identical product between the city and the county. I just want one final point, Mayor Pro Tem, one final point. There are 5 islands in the county of Clark, and they're called cities. You're an island in Clark County, and I just appreciate your time.
Mayor Pro Tem, before the clock starts, could I ask a point of order? My parking pass, it said 2 hours over there. Am I going to get charged extra because it's going so long?
Triple. So,
Triple,
Larry.
It's an all-day pass?
It's an all-day pass. The city gives you all-day passes. Okay. Now we're going to start the 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And I offer a perspective that I think is unique on annexation. For close to 12 years, I sat in your seats and dealt with annexation with the county. From the city's perspective, the last 9 years as a county commissioner from the county's perspective. And one thing that you've heard clearly today is the state statute is complex, antiquated. It's got some things in there that are just wrong. The fact that a commercial, instead of a democratic one person, one property vote, they throw in this convoluted assessed value. So some of the property along Councilman Coffin's area along Fremont could distort an entire neighborhood. And I think that needs to be addressed. The two things I have heard, though, that are legitimate, and I've heard arguments for and against annexation for a long time now. One is you can vote for the mayor and the city council in the respective wards. That's true. Can't argue that. The other is that most of these residents are in that 1.7% that pay the lowest property taxes in southern Nevada. And we tried to create a township in Lone Mountain, but were prohibited by statute. So they are what they are, and that is because we can't do anything else. And as far as the fair share, which has come up often, be it the arguments with DC and Nevada, with the North and the South, with the city and the county, if we took three of your brightest minds, probably sitting right up here, and brought the three folks from the county to have this fair share argument, I don't know who would win. But that goes right into my biggest point today is this is more of a city-county issue. The burden shouldn't be placed on these people because it's an undue burden. What they've had to do for close to 6 weeks is unfair. I would suggest that we take this opportunity to start focusing back on what we should be doing jointly. And there's some wonderful examples in my 20 years that the city and the county work extremely well together. I don't understand why the pettiness escalates certain times, but it needs to stop. There's so many things we can accomplish. So I would ask that even if the signatures are submitted and by statute you can bring that assessed value or number below 50%, don't do it. You've heard the people speak today, and you represent them as much as we do. If we could just eliminate the jurisdictional boundaries and start dealing together as a city and the county. Thank you for your time.
Okay, and Mr. Brown, at one time when I asked you about this, I said, Larry, I'm not pushing the Northwest annexation. I understand that, why that was objected to by the county. But I said, I have this island, and there were problems in it. It wasn't just a road problem that we wanted to fix the road and the county wouldn't fix the road. It wasn't just any little problem. It's a whole bunch of things that add up. They add up. And so I asked you, what do you think of the annexation of these islands? And you said to me, that's what should be annexed. That type of where you're circled all the way by the county should be annexed.
Didn't want to have this public discussion, Mayor.
Oh, I thought we were friends. We could do it. I'm sorry.
Let's clarify it, though, because this is about the 6th time it's been brought up. It was an RTC meeting. After the meeting, you approached me and said, or this is what I heard.
Yes.
I have a neighborhood that the county is not responding to. I've spent a lot of city time and resources to fix it. Is this the kind of thing that annex? I said, absolutely. That's the case of annexation. Candidly, that is a lot different from the 10 territories. If you felt that I was supporting a 10-territory annexation, then that's miscommunication.
No, I'm talking about...
But I absolutely, in the situation you presented to me, but again, that's the city, the county, Lois. That's what Mayor Pro Tem, we've got to get rid of that. Let's start looking out as one unit.
And I think we should. You know what I think we should do, Larry? I think, excuse me, Commissioner Brown, I think what we should do is just get the government all together. And when I first got on the council, I was hoping, I even said that I would, move from my seat if somehow we could get the government all together working and we didn't have this fine. But I thank you very much, and you know I respect you very much.
Likewise. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem. Stay there, Larry. Larry. Please.
We're going to be able to answer him in just a minute. Can I just...
What?
Would you stay, Mr. Brown, because someone wants to ask you some questions?
Yeah, Larry, don't go running.
Before I do that, ma'am, I thought we had the last person already. After the, have you spoken already? Then go ahead and speak, and this is the last person, and then we move on for the council to speak. Mr. Coffin, okay.
Oh, I'm Patricia Smith. I live at 1370 Duneville Street, and I'm really concerned about how these votes are going to be processed, if they're going to be processed in your favor or our favor. I mean, it's just, there's so many increments to it. I'm worried. And you did explain it, but it just went so fast I don't understand it, how you're going to count these votes. So, and it has something to do with the assessment of our properties. And so I was wondering if you are going to send an explanation to everybody in the mail as to how you are going to process these votes.
Well, of course, I'm only one member of the council, but I would feel that it's, I don't know if we can send it through a mailing, but I know that we can have it available to anyone who calls in. So that you should be able to call in and say, what is the process? Please mail it to me.
Now, Mayor Pro Tem, can I say something? Okay, because I need to get this in. You got a good answer. The answer is yes. It's important that Brown and Collins, Tom, are still here, and Larry Weekly was.
But probably, Mr. Coffin, just wait 1 minute. Just wait 1 minute, please. Was there anybody else wishing to speak on this item?
Oh.
There's none, so I'll close the public hearing. And now I've tried to let everyone speak, and then I can now turn it to the council.
Well, I don't need to jump over anybody else speaking. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just wanted to say that there's a lot of things that don't get explained, and you have to have a perspective. So serving in office helps a lot. Those of you who are staying to listen, please, thank you. I served in the legislature for many years. I've seen these fights come to the legislature. Reno and the county of Washoe got in a bloody fight. It cost them both a lot of money, and they made no progress. That was about fire protection, and it was because Reno was paying a lot more than they should have that's the taxpayers of Reno, paying a lot more than they should have vis-a-vis the Washoe County taxpayers. So you see, when these things come up, it isn't to line a city government pocket or try to boost a budget or try to do anything. It is equity. It is fairness that I represent a segment of the city. Everybody at this dais represents a piece of the city. You still represent county and city. And Tom, you're retired, but you're still in everybody's business. The thing is that eventually some taxpayer in the city of Las Vegas is going to take all this data that has been accumulated by outside consultants, the International County and City Managers Association example is one, showing the inequity of the services received in certain ways, and that we've gotten into these fights between the city and the county, millions of dollars at contest, but the legislature has had, again, be the referee in the middle. It has not been profitable to you folks or us or anybody because we are in trust for all those voters in the city limits. If some city voter decides that this has gone on long enough and that my neighbor across the street or just down the road a little bit in the county island isn't paying as much for the same exact protection that I am, he's going to file a lawsuit. This will happen, I guarantee you. So instead of having public officials quarrel, and instead of having us try to level the playing field by bringing everybody into the same community, it'll be handled in the courts, which will cost the city money, you taxpayers and the county taxpayers money, and the lawyers will get rich. And in the meantime, then it'll all be done instead of this way we're doing it now, the ugly old Democratic way. It'll be done in the courts, and you won't know until your bill comes in, and you'll be paying more. So this is important for you to not just scoff at the methods and just not throw out rumors and shibboleths and things that aren't true because you've heard it on Facebook or somebody came to your door and said this or that. It might or might not be true. The point is that judges will eventually handle this, and then it'll be out of my hands and yours and Tom's and Larry's and everybody, and it's going to cost you a lot more. So please try to work with us as we level this playing field for everybody. Thank you.
All right, now we had closed the public hearing, and I noticed a gentleman stood up there. Are you saying you haven't been heard? Why weren't you? Oh, you spoke already.
He was heard.
Well, sir, if you already spoke, I'm sorry. I have a council here that would like to say something too, and Mr. Anthony will be first.
Thank you, Mayor. So Today's agenda item was to hold a public hearing on this annexation issue. I came here to listen to all of you. I didn't come here to, was it my time to speak? Was your time to speak? I didn't come here to argue with you. I didn't come here to banter back and forth with you. I came here to listen to all of you, and we've been doing that for almost the last 4 hours, which is fine. If we go another couple hours, I don't care, but we're not, because public hearing's closed. So first of all, I appreciate all of you coming out and taking the time to do this. Obviously, there were more people here before, because people have to leave, but you all are sticking around. What I've heard is, first of all, nobody offended me in the audience. All right, I was a cop for 29 years. I've heard worse, but I take this public hearing stuff seriously. I wanted to sit down and shut up and listen to all what you have to say. And what I've basically heard is that you've been very clear, you've been very concise, you've been very unified. You've been very passionate about not getting annexed into the city. That's what I heard today. I'm not voting today. None of us are voting today. This is just a public hearing, but I will guarantee you that if I vote, and I may not vote because we may even not get to the 51% that agrees to do this, or it kind of confuses me, to tell you the truth. But if I do have to vote, I guarantee you that I have heard you loud and clear, and I will take that message into consideration when I have to push the button in a future date when it comes to annexation. So that's what I just wanted to clarify today, because I haven't said anything.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And ladies and gentlemen, I have thoroughly enjoyed today. You know, you showed today that you don't have to be a lawyer or a lobbyist to have your voice heard in our form of government. And you all did an exceptional job. And what you said today matters. I echo Councilman Anthony's comments. I agree with them. And I heard you say exactly what Councilman Anthony said, and I'll just say it this way. I think you said that the city hasn't made their case. That you'd like transparency of costs, that there's been a lack of communication, there has been a lack of specific information out to you, and that we need to share to you what your objective is for you to be successful to oppose it, and it's confusing. I agree with that. And something else, there is a process, and this is my first rodeo on this also, and my understanding is this is step one of the process. That step one is for you have control of it. You have control right here to get the numbers, to get the property values that you need to say no. So you have control of step one. And if you say no, it's done. If you didn't quite make it, then it goes through what we call our step two. It's our normal ordinance process. I'll just share that. I'm getting up to speed on that, and that means that it goes on the agenda. We hear it twice, and on the third time we have public comment again, and then we vote. So that'll be a chance for, if it happens to get that far, for you to speak your piece and see if the city is up their game on making their case. So I think it's been a great day, and you have been great Americans and great citizens of Southern Nevada, and I applaud the county for coming out and sharing. And you know, they've met with us. I've met in their offices, they've met in my offices, and I think we can and will work together as we go forward. So I just applaud you and thank you for coming out today. Thank you.
So, just as we asked you if someone said something, not to repeat it, I'm going to tell you that I ditto my peers up here, Councilman Anthony and Councilman Soroka. And I thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed your freedom-fighting spirit. Welcome to my universe. And so just know that you have more friends up here than you think. So I wouldn't be so judgmental on us yet.
Oh, I'll just add a P.S., Lois. I really will. Just a P.S., because I talk too damn much. Well, Brown can listen. Brownie, we came here in October of 1951. So all of you people that came here after, would you please leave? This is our problem. We had 24,400 people in Las Vegas city limits. Now, what is there, a couple of million? I mean, it's like, you know, it's remarkable. People just came here. We couldn't stop them. So it's the blessings and the problem. Somebody somewhere should have pulled up the ladder. But look, everybody still wants to pull up the ladder. Thank you.
Thank you. Move to item number 6.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I might, please.
Yes, you might.
So I was asked to make one quick clarification, and it's very relevant to what happens over the next 15 days. In my opening comments, I read verbatim out of NRS, particularly 268-593. Any protest to such annexation shall be deemed waived unless the same is presented verbally at such public hearing, which we have just concluded, or is filed in writing with the city clerk of the annexing city within 15 days after the conclusion of such public hearing. Then I went on to say that you can either speak here, turn in a card, or mail it to the clerk. And I apologize for saying mail it. It just needs to be filed in writing with the city clerk. You can hand it in, bring it in, however you can get the city clerk. 15 days concludes February 27th. At the conclusion of normal business hours, which for the city clerk's office is 5:30 p.m., just so there's no misunderstanding about the time to turn in a protest following this public hearing. February 27th, Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. with the city clerk's office. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to item number 6, which is our second citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the City Council unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. And can I say one last thing myself, and that is what you did today is what I encourage all our neighborhood associations to do. You have to be alert, and you have to be able to fight for what you think is right. There may not be agreement, but you've got to do what you think is right, and you've got to stand up for it, and you did that. And I think all of us respect that. Thank you very much. Oh, Mr. Collins.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, public comment.
Yes, it is.
Just for y'all to be aware of more of your building codes and title. For example, Clark County does not require block walls or a 2-car garage. Y'all do. That is a big difference just alone in your building codes, regardless that you charge more. And like I mentioned, you got 80,000 square feet of property zoned agricultural or RE or RU, you can have 25 head on it. So there's a big difference in the cities in Clark County, including North Las Vegas, Mesquite, Henderson, Boulder City, and in unincorporated Clark County. So those are the code things that Commissioner Brown and I had worked on for a long, long time. That's why both of us came and spoke to you all 3 years ago on this annexation last time. So hopefully you don't want anybody to unwillingly be annexed. They don't owe you a dang thing. They don't. The city is subsidized by the county, and accept it.
Oh, my God.
Thank you all.
I mean,
have a great day.
My God, Tom, that's a terrible thing to say.
You fell off the horse.
You are not
Facts are facts.
subsidized. You are not subsidized. I'll tell you what. What do I tell the person who lives across the street from this island? And they say to me, "Well, why do I have to pay 2 taxes instead of 1?"
You're the island.
We're an island, too.
You're the island.
No, I'm not. You
we're voting
provide
you
the
off the
services,
island.
supposedly. Anyway, thank you very much. Or anybody else want to speak?
We just voted you off the island.
Okay, you got your
After you pay
10-gallon
your
hat. Okay, is there anybody else who wishes to speak before I close the meeting?
I would,
Yes.
Madam, please.
Yes.
I would just like to say that for a lot of the people who were here today, we earned our homes through hard work and determination, a lot of us were not able to have college educations and careers and pension plans and social securities that will afford us a better quality of life as we age. Many of the people here have to make decisions between Medicare, Medicaid, prescription drugs, whether to eat, whether to feed their pets that they love so much or eat themselves. And an increase in property taxes doesn't mean a lot to some people, but to some people, it's life and death.
Yeah.
For some of us who might lose our homes because we can't afford it, that also creates a lot of vacant homes. And we also know that with a lot of vacant homes through the recession and things that happened, that also brings a lot of crime.
Thank you for your comments. I'm only giving 1 minute at this part of the
sorry,
comment.
thank you.
Oh, ma'am, we did not get your name. You had spoken previously.
9. Colleen Manning Pickett.
You're welcome. All right.
I spoke earlier. My name is Barry Katz, 2510 Apricot Lane. I just want to clarify something. Maybe you can help me. I called the Public Works office last week, and I was advised that although you say you don't have to have street lights, you don't have to have sidewalks, and your septic tank and so forth, he said that it could be changed at any time. And I want a clarification as to whether what he told me was right or not.
Well, sir, I don't know if we could clarify that totally, but I will tell you this. In the county, in the city, in North Las Vegas, in Henderson, all over, anything can be changed at any time. So that's all I can say. I wouldn't be able to count on anything in my life right now. I don't know any of us can. But right now, if you're asking, do we have any intention to, I think I could assuredly tell you no.
Okay, the reason I have that question is because the flyer that I got from the city said that if you have your private road, you can keep it if you know, all that, the septic tank and so forth. And so I just wanted to clarify it. Thank you very much.
I think it's a good question to ask because a lot of people were talking about losing these things and they wouldn't lose any of that. So it's a good question. But if you say, will it ever be changed? We don't know because Lord knows what is going to happen in another 3, 5, 10 years. But thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I have 1 minute for the speakers. Okay.
It's okay. Thank you. Dennis Case, 5780 Delray again. Only question, if this process was to go forward, step by step down the road, if there were SIDS involved, which is, I understand, the correct term, and a community decided to have these, how does easement rights kick into this? Because some of my neighbors have easements that go into the middle of the street. Do they have to release those in these things? How does this work? I have no idea about these easements. Because some easements on properties go to block, like where your front yard would be, water meters. Some go to the open desert lot. Some go to half the street.
I don't know why you would think that they'd take your easements.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
I don't know. Am I wrong, planning? Would we be taking any easements in this area unless something came up about accidents
would that
or
be
something?
involved? My question is, would easements come into effect, the change of easements that if you currently have on your property, if later on down the road, one of those improvement districts came up? Because different neighbors have different easements in some properties, I've noticed.
Can planning answer that, please?
Mayor Pro Tem, generally speaking, when an annexation occurs, whatever entitlements and/or obligations existed under the county approvals continue to exist under the city approvals. Again, with any development, should a property do further development from where they're at right now, Public Works will have a conversation with them about any existing easements, about any future dedications and that kind of thing. But again, generally speaking, when we annex territory into the city, whatever entitlements they had under the county, the city generally perpetuates those entitlements once they've come into the city, including any easements that they may have on that
Okay,
property.
does that help you then, sir?
Yes, to some degree, I guess, because
Can I pursue that with him?
it would determine then later on is if it was imposed upon them or not, if it would encroach upon the easement that they have, right? If it was pushed further down the road.
Can I got to ask our staff a question. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I really do. Because easements are not your property. That belongs to somebody else. Might be a third party like It's simply
No,
a
he
right.
said it's his easement.
It could be your property, but in a sense, you still have to surrender it. But I'm thinking the rule of thumb, particularly out here where the roads are not very wide yet, is because most people think they own more land than they do. That in fact, that road that's out there probably got an ROW of 80, 100, 120 feet, you never know, coming right into your front lawn, and you just think it's yours, and like the gentleman who was parking his truck.
Please, Mr. Councilman, this is your opportunity for them to give their final address to us.
Out of order again.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
And I really care a lot about you, but you are. Okay, and you know, these people have been here about 4 hours now. All this staff has been here about 4 hours, and I think we've heard everything, and I would like to close the meeting. I adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Good for you.
All right.
Thank you.